As the night falls and the stars align, Coley Marquis Show takes us on a ride through the cosmos, the unknown, where mysteries of the universe are shown. Questions arise, curiosity grows. Are we alone? Only time knows. UFOs, aliens, paranormal sights. Experts share the knowledge under the lights. Did the government recover a crashed UFO? Or alien bodies hidden, where do they go? Sean Mack's alien agenda. Is it right? Will the truth finally come to light? Secrets of the universe unfold in a facility where the truth's been told. Conspiracies and cover-ups entwine. As we search for answers, will we find? In the shadows, the truth awaits. UFOs, aliens, thermal sights. Experts share the knowledge under the lights. Did the government recover a crashed UFO? Or alien bodies hidden, where do they go? Sean Mack's alien agenda. Is it right? Will the truth finally come to light? Sean Mack's alien agenda. Is it right? Will the truth finally come to light?
What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Coley and Marquis Show. My name is Marquise, and I am here with Coley. Coley, what's up? Say hi to the chat. We are live.
Hello, chat.
We are live.
Yeah, I see everybody. I see Pally's in there and Mothman. I mean, how exciting. I love our team.
Of course.
So this is an exciting show. Yeah, I'm pumped for it.
Yeah, it's a new thing. It's kind of a new thing. We got our first double guest, right? So it's gonna be fun. We do have a returning guest. I'm really excited about our returning guest, by the way. Everybody, she's such an animated person, such a wonderful, fun person to talk to. So we're gonna have that conversation, and then we have a new guest. At least for me, there's a lot of new people that I'm talking to for the first time. Now we are live on both the radio side of things, which is on Helix Rock Radio. We are also live on YouTube. If you want to have some chat going back and forth, you can hop on there too. We're live on YouTube as well. So check us out on both platforms, and we can have this conversation with you, and you can ask questions throughout the conversation we have with our two guests. And our two guests, Coley, you ready to bring them on?
Let's bring them on. Yeah,
let's bring them on.
Super
all right, so
excited.
you guys, Dana and Rocko, we're bringing you guys in. So just hit the join, and we're in. Dana, Rocko, what's up? Welcome.
Oh, Rocko, you're muted. Just so you know. Real quick before we get started, I just wanted to say that my account on Facebook right now, if there's people who have bookings and everything, we're going to get it straightened out. No big deals. No need to panic. So you just might see the messages that I've deleted, but we'll get it fixed. No worries.
Yeah, it was kind of strange. Like, I don't know what happened. But like, I'm looking through our messages. I'm like, why does it say unavailable? That's weird. I've never seen that before. So, the aliens have come after us. We've told too much truth in this show.
I know. They must really like this.
Hey, I had one of those. Rocko, you're muted, my friend. You're muted.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I had
There you
a
go.
princess
sorry.
crown with the tinfoil on it. It was so funny. I love it. I love it, Dana.
Thanks.
Yeah, cool beans.
Keep
cool
it
beans.
around.
And for those of you who
just in
can't see, she had a tinfoil hat on. So I was like, man, she's right. Yeah, you fit right in with us for sure. I love it.
case. Oh, Atlanta.
Well, where's my damn paycheck? Is what I'd like to know.
What's
That's
that?
what. Where's my paycheck?
Where's your
I
page?
Yeah.
served in wars. I no longer have to serve in those wars, and we'll get to that part.
Yes,
Yeah, we're gonna talk
yes,
about
we're
a lot
so
of stuff.
excited.
Yeah, a lot of stuff we're gonna talk about. So,
Many, many, many lifetimes I've lived.
so
I've
let's
been-
before we get started with that Rocko, let's introduce yourself first. So everyone knows who Dana is. Dana, I don't want to, just in case anyone doesn't know, Dana, I would like for you to represent yourself. Tell everybody just pretend like no one knows, and those who don't know are gonna get an updated version of Dana right now. So Dana, hit us up with your deeds.
We love Dana.
I'm a suburban housewife. No, like, so when I was an infant, the gray aliens started to show up over my crib, blah, 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 blah. Background, wife of 33 years. Well, that's the second marriage. Anyway, let's just be honest.
Oh my gosh.
And then I got 2 grown sons that I love so much, and they are epic as well. Blah, blah, blah. I pretend to be a suburbanite housewife. I consider myself that I'm coming out of the cosmic closet, because once you start to talk about these things in polite conversation, all your credibility, just falls out of your mouth and goes away. So I've just kept quiet about what I know, what I do, what's happened to me. And so now I'm finally coming out. So I'm meeting all of you lovely people. Thank you, God. And so briefly in a nutshell, yeah, if you've seen it, done it, whatever, I've been there too. So yeah, it's we're all good. So nothing's going to surprise me. Anyway, that's a nutshell. How about that?
All right. Thank you, Dana. Thank you for that. Fun intro. Rocko, what's up, man? Hit us up with your deeds. Let us know. Let everyone know what you want them to know about you before we start the conversation.
My name is Rocko Fowler, currently on timeline 2024. For the past, since 2014, I got thrown into, I believe it was some type of program where it brought back my childhood and, and several different timelines at the same time, and battling apex predators, meeting different people, Sean Bond, meeting honeypots that came into my home. I almost died from a black goo incident, and she was laughing at me. Oh, do you need help? Ha ha ha. Do you need help? So I messaged, thank God to Christopher S. Jacobs. I messaged him at the time and I said, hey bro, I don't know. I feel like I'm, literally going to choke. He said, shove your mouth under a water faucet right now and break down whatever it is, because it's the acid in your stomach is just going to eat it up. So it's like if Max Spears would have just got to water, because he was in that Handlers is what she is. Max was a very, 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 very intelligent individual. I had maybe a few conversations with him, but he's a fallen, soldier. I will say one thing. We say for educational purposes only, and entertainment. Well, there's no entertainment to torture. There's no entertainment to, seeing. I know a person currently right now on this timeline, that I've met, that some of those pictures that were sent to me, I feel were dropped to her and then dropped to me, because I had pictures of the actual cells in Battery 113.
Well,
and
hold
the
on
clear
one
light.
second, because there's a lot of things that I've never heard. There's terminology I've never heard before, and if I've never heard it before, then I know the audience hasn't. So you gotta really treat me, especially me, like I'm a child and I've never heard anything of these things before. So let's start off with one thing that you mentioned, You said lifetime number 24, right? Is that where you are now?
Well,
2024.
yes. What had happened was the other night, I was talking to Dana a little bit briefly right before I fell into it. Now, I also am. I currently know that there's going to be a war with a reptilian race, Draco reptilian race, in 2030. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to die. You know, I even had visions of like reptilians and people actually eating these reptilians because they need survival.
So Rocko, let me stop you there. Is what you're saying that during this time, like when Dana helped you shift back to the timeline, that you were actually 2030 and you were experiencing all this? Is that where
other time? Okay, so what happened was a time traveler, another one, said to me, "Oh, such and such said this," and I told him, "Don't mention that person's name. They're not even supposed to be known that they're on this timeline right now. They're not supposed to be here. This individual came into this timeline, or came into recent, and then left again after COVID because COVID really prevented World War III. Okay, that was the whole. That was the whole thing. That's the whole objective right there. That's
Hey,
why
Rocko,
he did.
Before you start, people, what I think is really important for them to know is that you both were a part of project or the Montauk project, right?
I don't feel she
And the
recalls
SSP.
anything about Montauk. I do recall her energy signature. Okay, it's the energy.
No, but
signature.
you, just so people know how you're able to do all these things or where this is stemming from.
Oh well, I mean, there's like 20 or so other people that claim they remember me.
No, I'm not doubting that. I'm just letting the audience know that this,
I don't.
they don't know.
Just take that with a grain of, some of it with a grain of salt now. Like since I've had that transformation, where I completely woke up, reset. I, by the way, have not had any nightmares the past 2 nights since this work was done to me. Dana said, "Go out, get into nature." I went out and I got into nature the next day. It was like getting up out of bed and just putting your shoes on and saying, "You know what? I'm going to go for that walk. I'm not going to let these people hold me down. I'm not going to let these dark forces hold me down. No, I'm going to push back, but I'm going to psionically push back. I'll use soul traps.
You tell the audience what that exactly means, because I know what it means.
Remember, Rocko,
basically
I'm a child, man.
Right. What I was taught how to do by Sean Bond is one of the soul traps is you take them, you shrink them, and you put them in a cube within a cube and a trillion mirrors. And then you quantumly entangle that over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then you have your etheric closet. So it's not really like physical, you know what I mean?
No,
but it works.
I was taught how to put people in the crystal cave, so I get that.
It completely puts them away. Sometimes they'll break loose. So then it's okay. I'm going to load my psionic cannon. I'm going to figure out, usually it's not the person. It's either an altar, which was created like in Montauk, where one of my altars was part of the reason my Omega programming kicked in about a year ago. And I nearly went off the edge. Like I came a hair close to pulling the trigger. A hair close.
Yeah.
So let's tie Dana into all this, because Dana and Rocko, they joined conversations, didn't know one another prior, and then to hear them communicate with each other, they spoke the same language. I was just like blown away. I was like, wow, like what confirmation. So Dana, I don't know if you want to kind of to give your part in this, and Rocko, like in kind of explaining so the audience understands, because I think it's really, this is such a phenomenal, like, like it's so
It's
much
been amazing.
information to get out there, and this is an opportunity to do it. And I know that Rocko, I see that you've helped him a great deal, because this is very traumatic. Like, you don't leave this without some like extensive trauma.
Oh, I
And
still
person.
I still have memories. I can
Right.
still go back to my memory bank of being forced to watch another survivor who I've actually communicated with, who actually wants to do an interview with me in person.
That's
Just
awesome.
to feel, I feel sometimes when you meet other people that were quote unquote involved in these programs, like I met Joe Lafrino. And when I met him, he actually did something with his eyes that Preston told him he'd be able to do. And I literally started seeing swirls like this. We were at a camp here, and that's where I located
You
the
just camp where?
Camp
It
Hero.
muted you out. Camp Hero. Okay. As soon as you said Camp
Yeah.
Hero, it muted the hero part out. So okay, Camp Hero.
Of course.
And where's that
it's where
located?
place you would think they'd be You know, I always thought about that hero, right? They
Mhm.
create superheroes.
Yes. Yeah.
But they do.
Coley,
Yeah.
They create
Yeah, real quick,
superheroes.
Coley, there is a delay with some of the audio. So if I was telling them earlier, we are, by the way, everyone, if you're listening to the delay there is a delay, which is why sometimes we're talking over each other. So please excuse us for that. Coley, try to account for that. It's very difficult. Trust me, I'm well aware. So just as we're talking, if we interrupt you, Rocco, there's just a delay because it's happening often. I don't want you to feel like we're like cutting you off. Okay.
How many
I don't
seconds?
feel
can you go
nothing.
in?
I'm,
Like
I'm
2
feeling
seconds.
good right now, man.
Cool,
I
man.
feel really good right now. I'm not nervous. I'm here to
That's
tell my
good.
truth and
Okay.
continue to go out there and speak truth.
That's what's up.
Shout out
So
to
Camp-
Brian.
Shout out to who?
Brian.
Brian?
Yeah, sang absolutely. If it wasn't for
Yeah.
him, I would really actually he kicked me in the butt. Now he did trigger me by saying boy.
Mm.
Went, boy, I'm not your messenger. And I said, whoa. And I freaked out on him for a little while there. And then I walked away from it and I thought about it and I said, no. I got to get back into the community. The community needs me. I have a message. I know what's going on. It's still going on. People don't think it is. They're turning a blind eye on it. I mean, rituals with Steven Spielberg, rituals with P. Diddy. I mean, this stuff is going on. And my friends in the Hamptons are getting ready and close to coming out with the truth. Video footage, whatever they can lay out, they're going to lay it out. And we're going to play it out.
You threw Diddy,
Bad
you threw
Boy
Diddy in there. I
Records.
wasn't expecting the Diddy part. Just-
So can you tell us where Camp Hero is located? Rocco, can you tell us where Camp Hero is located?
It is located at the eastern end of Long Island, New York, at the tip end, about I'd say 100 feet away from the lighthouse. And the first time I ever went there in 2014, when I woke up to these memories and went down a rabbit hole, basically just a complete rabbit hole of jumping into assassin programming. I'm not going to mention the one name but I'm just, that's it.
So,
Individual.
Dave, do you remember being taken to Camp Hero? Has that been part of your experience as well, or do you know the location?
Me?
yes,
Mhm.
ma'am.
Okay. So no. I don't think that's part. Okay, so I'm gonna say two things. I don't think that's part of my storylines because of just a lot of things. Knowing, I think sometimes people, such as what happened, can insert me in there almost like a lifeline kind of a thing, like bringing me in as a lifeline. I don't know. Because what I do, it's different. I mean, and so I said this kind of last week. If you go back and watch last week, I talk about my healing stuff and how I don't talk about it because people won't understand it. And so here we are, right?
Right.
Busted, which is hilarious. So it's cracking me up. So I was being brought in. I was being brought in. And as I said last into the thing in an etheric way, because my dad, that's what crucified his entire career. He kept me out of Montauk, and I talked about that last week.
Yeah, I remember.
But yeah, you can bring, like, I feel that what happened between Rocko and myself was like, he was asking for this healing without asking for the healing. And I knew what was going on. And it was like I was being brought in, and I understand and know that, because like I'm kind of like, like original gangster. I'm the old guard.
The OG.
Okay. Because I'm that old, and I'm like, I'm a gangster, but I'm
Oh.
old guard. I'm OG.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden I was chilling on 4th of July, and it was so hilarious because, as an energy worker and stuff like that, you're like, is this really happening? And then the next day I got on Facebook. I'm like, oh, snap. That did really happen. So I had a hot moment where I was just all by myself, and all of a sudden, and this is per permission, just people need to understand. And I spoke about this last time, that when somebody needed healing, I'd ask if I can pray for them. It's all about permission, right?
Mhm.
People
Yeah.
You
to
said that
be
before.
in,
Yep.
yeah,
Setting those
It was
respect.
emphasis.
Yes.
Right, and not overstepping and all these kinds of things. So all of a sudden I was chilling, but because we had an introduction and everything, I knew exactly it was Rocko, and I could just see all these flipping pages, man. I'm like, holy, yeah. I had to like slow this down. So I started to like, I knew who he was by his signature. I knew what was going on. I knew the whole thing, blah, blah, blah. I'm very much aware of all this stuff. Okay. I
Mhm.
wasn't there, but I'm very much, and I knew he was trying to bring me in as like a drowning person. They'll drown, their lifesaver and stuff like that. So it was kind of that thing. And then the next day we were able to connect and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. But I first had to say to him before we started the entire conversation, I mean, I looked at the timeline. I knew what I did the night before. And I said to him, do you want to heal? Because that's the whole thing, is giving permission again. Do you want to heal in integrity? And he said yes. And so that is also why I don't do a lot of healing for a lot of people, because a lot of people, they say they want to heal, but they're addicted to the loop, or they're addicted to whatever. And I needed to make sure he wasn't, because I wasn't going to do this and then he just still spirals. And and I knew he was authentic. I knew he wanted to do this and all this kind of stuff. But, I have to go through the protocol. I have to ask. Okay.
Yeah.
And so then we super connected and we did all the things. And I'm like, man, we had the conversation about letting it go and for him to choose this timeline. And I think this is very important for a lot of people. And I think that's how they keep us distracted and fractionated.
Mhm.
And
Oh, yeah.
again, last week I talked about being sovereign, whole, holy human. Remember, I was whole, holy human. And this is part of the deal, is how do we stay inside of this body? Remember, we're all kind of like a little dense. It's hard to be in this body. And so for Rocko, he needed to integrate into this body, be sovereign and centered, because he's a powerhouse. I mean, you have to understand what strength it took for him to find me and do these things. This is amazing. So, I mean, I was humbled by this. But now, okay, so that was part of the work. The work for him now is to be in his full power, because when we're fractionated like this is what they want, because we can't stand in our truth and our power and all these kinds of things. So when we're on one page, and now we can look them in the eye and all these things and stand in our truth. Wow. Because this is what we have to do. This is the work for all of us. This is the thing. Be done with the programming. And how do we do this? And so it was amazing. It was a blessing. It was a blessing for Rocko. It was a blessing for me to be able to do this and for us to go through this. I'm looking forward to watching him shine, because he has a lot of power that he can stand in his truth and shine to be helpful. Because when he was flipping the pages, man, you can't do it. I mean, because it's too much, right? I mean, I think you all kind of get that. So that's kind of what happened. And it's just, it's just remarkable to see him and going out and centering and being with the planet, with Gaia, and going outside and everything like that. So it's remarkable. So I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
before
So how do
moving
you
on-
find one another?
Oh,
With
he
that
just
type
showed
of-
up. Man, he didn't.
Yeah,
I'm just
he's
in there.
powerful. He is very powerful.
Right. I'm like,
And I'm trying to,
"No."
get so other people. I
Right.
want to give him such an opportunity to tell
Yeah.
the story in a
Yeah,
way
he's
that
powerful. He
he's,
found me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I'm just
great.
in there chilling, and he showed up, like, so because that he showed up, and I knew it was him. Like, there was no mistaking it. So that's why I'm saying he's very powerful, and it's like, how do we get him to stand in his power? I just opened the gate. I'm just a conduit. I was just able to, like, I'm a mom. Hey kids, slow the pages down. And he just needed somebody to see him, witness him, and slow it down and say, bro, I get it. I see you. You're flipping through these things, man. I mean, he didn't have to talk. It just was the energy level. We got each other. And literally at 7:10, when it all started, he had Facebooked me that night, and he's like, man, la la la. But I think in the same moment, I was working with him. I mean, we're not talking to each other. We're in separate
Mhm.
places. We're not
Right.
on Facebook, but
Yeah,
all of it was happening.
I
And
was
that's
there.
what healing is.
Yeah, let me try
That's
to make
what it
sense of
is.
this real quick, because two things I want to do, and I
Yeah.
do this all the time, so just bear with me. There are a lot of people in this field, a lot of people who've kind of spearheaded some of the high profile individuals in the public
Mhm.
that talk about, and listen, I don't have it right now to pull out of my arse, but like Hal Puthoff and TTSA, to the Stars Academy, you had Jim Semivan talk about some experiences that were very bizarre. And when you hear, for somebody like me, I'm a very analytical, a person who thinks a lot about data. I'm very data driven, scientifically driven. This stuff was frustrating to me because it didn't make any sense. The more people I heard that were from credible positions, from like that I consider credible, who were talking about experiencing these things, the more I said, okay, well, if these people are experiencing it, then what about all the people that have been saying the same thing but aren't in the position of power to make it seem more credible? And this is where you guys are right now. You're giving me an opportunity to share what many people are experiencing that aren't able to have the voice like you two do. So to make sense of what you're saying so far, and just to kind of give the audience an idea, why are we having this conversation? Just because you don't understand what's being said doesn't mean it's not real. It's something that you just don't understand. A lot of ancient traditions talked about this like comprehensively. So if you don't know, if it sounds crazy, it's because you don't know. And that's okay. I was there too. I didn't know. I still don't fully know. But that's why we're having these conversations, to enlighten us about this aspect of our existence. And moving on to like making sense of this situation, you'd mentioned, you're talking as if, in my mind, I'm thinking you guys met up. You didn't even meet. You're talking as if, you had this, communication. It sounds like there was another, we're having a conversation right now. What kind of conversation are you talking about?
Okay, for me, from my end, like I said, it was 4th of July.
Right.
Like, it was raining here in Minnesota. My husband went upstairs to watch TV. My son was like taking a nap. We were just in separate rooms. I just had a quiet moment for a minute, which was amazing. Like, God provides. God provided me this quiet moment. And so, because normally, I'd be like, Mom, and I'd be like cooking and cleaning, and then I'm not working, or like, I don't mean to say that this is work, but I wouldn't be like online, like
Right.
Cosmic Line. So I was chilling, and all of a sudden all the feelings came, and I could feel the flipping, everything about Rocko, and I knew exactly who it was. I don't know how to say this. It's a feeling, it's an emotion, like, I saw the pages happening, I saw all the frustration, I saw everything, and I knew it in a moment. I knew who I was dealing with. But there is this point of me that I'm like, is this for real? Because I do question. I said this last week. I'm like, I don't believe in anything until I experience it. And so then the next, so I did the work. I don't know. I think, but I'm like, okay, is this for real? Okay, I'm gonna do the work. I'm gonna help. I think this is Rocko, la la la, and all this kind of stuff. And I set it all straight. And then the next day, I went on Facebook, and I'm like, at 7:10, I'm like, holy smolies, there was Rocko going, hey, something or another. And I looked, and God told me to look at the clock. And I looked at 7 because I was in it. And then God said, look at the clock, because God wanted me to know, so you can confirm that this is going on. Because I'm sure, I guarantee you, Rocko showed up and we were doing it, and I had to timeline clock it to say, okay, this is 7:30. And the next day there was the confirmation. There was Rocko. I'm like, dude, look at you. And he's giving me gratitude. I'm like, but look at your power. You're amazing. And I'm like, dude, you got to put the suit on. You got to go out there.
Put
This
that
is
on
the
your chest,
new
man.
you.
I was able to, I was in the conversation, so I'm able to like
Yeah.
watch them correspond back and forth, and I'm like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. So Rocco, on your end, when you go to Dana, that you're using, like, I mean,
He reached
through all
out.
this, like, yes. So
Well, I was battling with that other time traveler. I was
Yes.
battling with him. He was trying to flip the timeline, and I was trying to flip it back into place. You understand? Because
yes,
Mhm.
like I was
Okay.
finally getting to that point after I met Brian, and I feel like what happened was he was trying to throw my whole timeline off so I wouldn't get out there and start speaking about Gabreski, National Air Guard Base in West Hampton Beach, Long Island, New York. Yes, where stuff is still going on underneath the medical unit. There are levels, sub-levels that go underground. You think about the underground, people. Think about the underground, the sewer drains. How many sewer? I mean, think about it. Even Camp Hero. Why in the blueprints, which I know an individual, Montauk is strange. I'm glad your book came out. You earned it. And that's one knowledgeable individual when it comes to history as far as the program. But he has even said that he recognized my energy.
Hmm.
So
Wow, I didn't know you were
I
under
don't
a
know.
battle at that moment. So I'm glad you were calling upon help or whatever. I'm like, that's how that happened then. I mean, whatever you
fell
were
out.
going through. Yeah.
Found out, and I think what happened was I told you, I said,
Mhm.
your energy, it's familiar.
Mhm.
So when I know a familiar energy, my energy will attach itself
Mhm.
or try to connect with you on an energetic level.
Right.
I'll telepathically say something to you, maybe like help.
Mhm.
But you
Oh,
might
yeah.
not know right away that me saying help, help, help.
Oh, I
Danger.
knew it was.
Danger.
yeah, that's one of Dana's superpowers. Yeah,
I
Bring
knew
in,
it was.
bring in the
you can hear
soldiers.
that.
Bring in the soldiers.
So
I
I
call
actually wanted
upon.
to. I've asked. There's a question that Polly. By the way, Polly, thank you for posting so many questions.
Mm.
Also, everybody, I do see you in the chat. Hang tight. I'll give you guys a shout out. But I wanted to ask this question from Polly. How did you start with this whole thing? How did you start? Because we talked to Dana about how she started last week. This is the first time I've had a conversation with you. So how did you get involved in all of this? Where did it all begin for you?
Honestly, I'm going to be real. Like some of the stuff, there's a lot of fragmented memories there, as well as full-on recalls. But I started by attending at the West Hampton Gabreski National Air Guard Base preschool. But prior to that, I had an ET contact that my mother, which by the way, listened to my show last night and messaged me this morning and said, thank you for telling the full truth. Everything you said about what happened to you from getting taken on your bicycle, you and your friend, who I can't even talk to, because when I try to talk to him about this stuff, he runs. But
They will.
he was there with me. He was one of the survivors. But for me, it started in 2014 when I woke up to this rabbit hole. But it takes time to break through the matrix.
So you had
So what
experience with
years?
the Sorry.
Sorry, Marquise, go ahead.
No, Coley, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask your mom's involvement. Was she a part of like the CIA? Was she part of the military?
No. I did wrong by calling my mom a handler when I altered out at one point.
Well, I know that's not unusual. That is not. I have heard it from
Right,
a lot.
but it's not always parents. It's not always parents.
Right.
It's like one of my handlers was a witch that lived in Watermill, who was dating my father and was also his handler, and she would bring me out to Montauk to meet Preston.
So, were you a part of the gifted and talented program as a child? I was recruited for it as
Well,
for,
I
and
was
I've heard that's like a gateway.
I was in structural learning. I have friends that remembered me being, all doped up on meds. Older people now. They were like 18 or 15 at the time, and I was like 7, 8 years old at that time. So, these people will remember me. And yes, there are tunnels that run from the base directly to the school, which the school used to be a part of the base.
Guys,
so yes, there is a tunnel.
chat. Just for those listening, this is what I mentioned the last show. There's a with Laura Eisenhower. There was a report, an FBI report, about, and allegedly there was a school that had a tunnel to a facility not too far away from the school. They would take these
Every
children,
high school, every single high school. Why are they locking doors to schools now?
I
Yes.
don't know.
Oh,
I don't know,
this
but I
bothers
gotta.
me.
it's-
This
yeah.
bothers me. Yes.
Before we get
yes.
into that, because listen, for the sake of balance, for that perspective, we're gonna talk about that. But I want to say this is not something to ignore. The point is that sounds crazy, but these things have happened and they've been published before. So just to kind of clarify, and listen, I want everybody to also know I don't take a position about whether I believe someone or not. I think that everyone has a truth to tell. Just like when I tell you my experience, half the people believe me, the other half don't. It's not up to me. It's up to you to decide what to believe. So that's kind of what I want to go with this.
Do you know what I would like to do is Marquise and I kind of step back here, because I think Dana and Rocco, they speak each other's language, and Dana can kind of translate some of this. And I think it's so important Rocco get this out there, that I would like to maybe us to take a step back for a little bit, Dana, if you're comfortable, and you and Rocco kind of, because you seem to really just, connect right away. I saw it, so I think that it would be really maybe beneficial, because I know he's got so much information to get out there. I just want to help him get it out there in a way that
really quick.
The normies are going to help,
Well, the normies, look, I'm going to say it like this, and this might sound rogue, but I am rogue. I'm a vet. I served just like a bunch of other people have served, okay?
Thank you.
I don't care if you believe me. I really don't.
It's not about that.
Call me whatever you want to call me. I'm just going to wipe it.
And we're not going to say this is for entertainment purposes only, because you've been through something very serious.
It's for educational reasons. Wake up, parents. Stop sending your kids to these homes where you think that you're going to get help for them. I've been through that too. I was in the troubled teen industry. Watch Tortured Teen and listen to Adam Knowles or Alan Knowles' story. We're talking about waterboarding to the point he thought he was going to die. He could barely hold his eyes from crying in this interview. It took him years to bring this out. And these are military people running these places. And it's under the Christianity name is what it is. And when I was in the foster care system, my story goes and continues. It's infinite.
That's why I want to get it kind of, focus in on certain parts of it. So the mainstream, because it's really important for people to be aware and to wake up to this, but it's also important for them to understand. So I'm going to in some of it, I don't want it to go without, because you're saying so much important things. And that's why I said, I think Marquise and I, if we take a step back, and maybe you and Dana, you can kind of help, so the general public, think like you're talking to somebody who, that's never been to Europe, and you're trying to tell, and, think this is what, in street names, they're not going to get it. They're not going to understand it. And I don't want this to skip over. So if you don't mind, Rocco, if that's okay with you, if Dana kind of helps, just you know, because there's all those pages. I get what it's like to have those pages all flipping in front of you, but I just want to get it out so you know what you're supposed to do here, and you know, so you're able to stay focused, and then other people like help them to understand, so we can start waking them up to this. We can get this topic going, and you know, it's going to give you more and more and more opportunities to talk about it and to get it out there. So Dana, if you're comfortable, I'm gonna hand my spot right on over to you, and I really think that it's going to be the most beneficial for Rocko. And that's all I want, Rocko. Nobody here thinks that I 1000% believe you. I just want to, I want to see your message and your information get out to the people in a way that they're going to be able to grasp and understand. So,
I can say that my information is pages, so it's not going to be done in just one episode.
No, and we can have you back too. We've Dana, like we've adopted her, you know.
I
So
mean,
you will have more time. But if we build that foundation,
you don't want to overdo myself. See, that's the other thing that Dana taught me. Don't overdo yourself. Don't overdo yourself, because you know when you do that, you lose track. You can fall off track. And I do exactly, I think about you, I envision you, boom, and I shift right back.
Right.
It works. I'm right back in the 2024. I'm not veering towards the 80s. I'm not veering towards past the 80s, maybe in a past life when I died in the Montauk chair. I mean, that's what I mean, is Anya Briggs did a reading on me years back. And right after, I had Black Hawks over my house. So it to me, you know, a lot of people paint some of these. For me, it's hard because I sit there and I watch Al Bielek, Duncan, and all those people where, let's just face it, Peter Moon, you left it out of the book and you whitewashed it. And I'm sorry, but you know what? It's 2024 and it's full disclosure and exposure.
Right. So Rocko, that's where we needed to bring you to, because you before we had an energy exchange, you were talking about your mission of what you want to do going forward and helping the children and bringing light to all of these subjects. So I was aware of these things, but it's like in that moment, I didn't understand that somebody else was coming towards you or anything, because their energy system and signature didn't, because as you know from me, first of all, it's that you could come to me, that, you know, like, cause like Coley set this up and I said that, and I told you that, I'm like, this was set up for a number of reasons, but it's, you know, a lot to help you and to help you come forward in your strength, because being fractionated or disassociated, you're not in your true power. So how are you going to accomplish your mission? Right. Is, you know, you can't, because it's all over the place. And so I, you know, in that moment, I was honored when you came to me. I knew who you were and all these things. And if I did buffer that guy, I mean, that's just the army and the league that's with me. And those guys aren't going to put up with that shit. So, because, you know, we know and we can do those things. But this is just to release you. So, okay. So as I told you many times, like, we did that big work. And you have to understand that that was huge on your part, because you found me, you came to me, and I have, you know, different protocols and gates. It's not everybody that can just show up, you know, when I'm chilling and stuff like that. That's not allowed. Like, so that was, you know, an honor and a, you know, like that was a special stance. And so like when I asked you, you know, words are very important. And I asked you, I had to have you go through these gates to say, are you willing to do these things? And you were like, yes, 100%. You were so willing. And so then the next part for me was like, okay, yeah, we did all that work. Well, like it seems like that was the easy part because it kind of is. It's kind of like having boundaries. It's like you can say to somebody, I have this boundary, and you can say, okay, I have a boundary, like don't step my toes anymore. But then you have to hold up that boundary. And that's kind of what I wanted to like. I tried to send you, as a mother's love or whatever, like some energy and support of like, dude, go do this now. Like you're free. You're free. Like you need to like sink into that and be like, you can be this new person. And because a lot of people they go back because you've been secular, it's like around and around in a circle. And it's like now we're gonna stop. We're going to focus on one thing because this is where you're going to be amazing. And I know you got it. You got it. And it just made me so happy and overjoyed, like the angels are singing, because a lot of people wouldn't be able to hold it. And you have, because as much strength as it took you to be with these flipping pages, the peace now and to hold this line and you've got it, like that's a lot of power. And you're going to go forward in that. And then it's going to be, it's not going to be the easiest thing or whatever, but I'm amazed at how you clicked in on that. Because I feel it's almost as if you've been waiting for it. Somebody to come with the key. Like if there's a key, like the key is what unlocks you. I just had the hand that could put the key in the lock and undo it. It's all you to push the door open and all that kind of stuff. And you're doing it. You're amazing. And so you've gone through so much. And I think a lot of Montauk people have and all this kind of stuff. It's this fractionated mind. And I have some things, I've got some tools in my box and you found me. I'm Mrs. MacGyver. I said it all last week. I mean, like you can go rewatch last week. And I think you're going to find that a lot of things that I said pertain to this week. That's why I said, oh my gosh, this was all divine destiny. This was all going to happen. And then other people can see this. Somebody out there is needing to see this. That's why we're playing this out. And so it gives hope to somebody. And I'm just going to tell you, I'm so amazed and I'm so happy and I'm so proud of your strength because you've been doing so many strong processes in a physical 3D way without realizing how much strength you're gaining on a soul level. And you just clicked right in. I'm just going to say a lot of people don't. They fall backwards. You're moving forward in an exponential way. I'm so happy for you. And I think as you're gonna like a little bunny bounce more and more into it. I guarantee you in 1 month, I'm not even gonna recognize you. If you took a picture of yourself today and in a month, I don't know if we're gonna know if like Rocko A and Rocko B, like you're just gonna grow so much and it's gonna be amazing. And so I'm honored to have helped you with this process. But I mean, it's all on you. I mean, you did it. You found me. You did the hard work. You did the heavy lifting. And you're the one that's bouncing forward like a little bunny, little jackrabbit, scooting with your little butt up in the air. And I'm so proud and happy for you because this is amazing and this is hard. And you keep getting centered of like how much you've done, how amazing this is. This is so amazing. It's huge work. I mean, I feel like I'm just talking too much, but I'm like, because I'm amazed at all the things you've done. I just was there. I'm just a conduit. I'm just a tool. I call myself a tool, but that's what I do. I'm like, dude, you did this. This is on you because you have a lot of big work and it's going forward. And so so for everybody with the whole Montauk process, and I feel kind of why that's why I'm kind of interesting in this way because I didn't go to Montauk. I did other work. I was on the starships and all this kind of stuff. I probably loaded up the Montauk kids. I had no idea I don't know what all that is. I don't know if I want to know, but I was on the sky ships. I was on the water ships. I had a different thing. I wasn't a part of this. but there's something a part of it that I understand. And that's why God gave me a little key that could help you unlock the door so that you could let yourself out. This is on you, and you're doing amazing work. And I just want to give you props for that. This is you. I'm watching you do amazing work. And so as I'm witnessing this, that is the same thing that you're going to be doing for others. Okay. It's the same. That's what nature teaches. That's what nature teaches. You are doing it, all the work that you are doing. This is the gift that you're going to give to others. This is the gift for other children and other people and other survivors that are like you, because they're going to come forward and you're going to meet them. And on the etheric level, any of these other children, you're going to be doing the same thing. You're going to have the key. You have the golden key to unlock the doors for other people, because you've been through it and you know it. It's a signature that you know. I saw your signature. I felt it. You are going to be doing this work. You aren't going to recognize yourself in a month. That's my firm belief. So, amen to you. And in this world, there's so many people in this community that I don't even know why are divided or something like that. We've got this whole system of people that are fighting against us. We all need to be in unity. We all need to be unlocking the doors. Hey, you got the key? And I said this last week. I said it. It's a prison break. I'm like, seriously, I said this. You got to go back and watch last week. And anybody else who didn't see my interview last week or whatever, yeah, I said all the things that are pertinent to this week. So it's hilarious. But isn't that how God works or whatever? Or divine manifest destiny? I don't even know. But I'm just saying, I was just here. I'm a tool. I'm a conduit. This was all on you. Soak that in. Keep right here, man. You're amazing. I'm so honored, and I feel like a mom. I'm like, I'm so proud of you. Like, oh, I just want to give you a big hug. So yeah, I mean, like anytime, just like, yeah, you got it. So don't ever doubt. Just keep going forward. Don't look back, man. Keep going forward, because those children and those other people, they're relying on you. And I think you know it. That's the truth. That's what scares you a little bit, because it's like, oh shit, now I'm the teacher. Now I got to go out and do some things. And it's like, yep. We're all being asked to level up. I had to come out of the cosmic closet, man. I'm not comfortable either. And so you have to come out of your cosmic closet. That's what we're all of us, everybody watching this, we're all being called to step up and be brothers and sisters and be united and not be in this fear bullshit, whatever, la la la. Yeah, so this is amazing. It's been a lot of work. I think a lot of people are feeling this energy this week. A lot of shifting. It's gonna be good clicks. Just thinking. Anyway, that's my 2 pieces.
Wow.
Yeah, listen,
Anyway.
we're gonna be on the radio, so we are on the radio. So we have to do a break towards the end of the hour. So forgive me for I don't want to get too deep into something and then all of a sudden we have to kind of transition. So Rocko, if you got anything to say before, like 5 minutes before we go to the first break.
Well, what is it that you'd like to hear?
I mean, she kind of just laid out entirely how she feels about this, the process between you and her.
What just happened?
Absolutely. Most definitely. I don't believe in coincidence. You know
Do you
what I mean?
feel reborn? Do you feel different?
No, I actually feel totally different. Like I've been getting up and doing things that I don't normally do. Different tasks, got different ideas, taking more pictures of myself, and then looking at, older photos of myself and seeing the angry me, because like the problem is I never looked myself into the mirror until Johnny Enoch spoke about that. Look yourself in the mirror and look that gatekeeper in the eye, find that gatekeeper, like find what's in there. And really my sole purpose is unity.
Yeah. Who are you not to shine? You are amazing. Playing small doesn't serve anyone. And flipping through pages like that, it's like it in a way. I mean, I don't mean it to be sounding bad, but it is like they keep us small. They want to keep us small, and you're enormous. And
Mhm.
the work you want, your desire is enormous, but you didn't physically click into that. You had that desire, and now your heart and your body are gonna come together, and you're gonna step forward so people can see you in that manner. And that's what you need. Is like, and these people are attacking you, like, you know, remember Wizard of Oz, like, you know, be gone before somebody drops a house on you. You know, I always
Mhm.
remember, like, what was the thing with oh God, I can't. There was like this Western show. I'm so bad. And they had like they had the coffee thing where they were on a dude ranch and he was making coffee, beans, or whatever. Anyway, so there's this one quote, and the dude always says, like, I shit bigger than you. And I love that because I'm like,
Wow.
that's what you need to. I'm like, I shit bigger than. Do you remember that? What was that? What's that guy? Does anybody remember that movie? Like, they went to this dude ranch, all these like corporate dudes. Like, who was the funny guy? I can't remember. Oh, he was in Harry Met Sally. Was he Harry? Oh no, I don't even know. Oh, I digress.
This
But
is more
anyway,
interesting than the movie.
I thought my husband would be like, Dana, because I'm always like, you know, the guy in the movie, you know, whatever. Like, they went to this dude ranch anyway. Anyway, I shit bigger than you. Anyway, so that is your motto, and like, you have nothing to fear, man. They're the little scattered rats, and they
Billy
tried
Crystal?
to. Yes, thank you.
No, love you,
Yes.
love you, love. I'm gonna give her all the credit. Love you, love said in the chat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Billy Crystal. That's I'm the nosy dude. What was the name of something? Urban Cowboys. Was that the name of it? Urban Cowboys. I think that was what the name of it.
Love
And
you,
then
love
the
out
dude,
West.
Billy Crystal was wearing a cow. He had a cow, and he put it in like the taxi when they got home back to New York and all that shit. Anyway, so that's the thing. But anyway, dude, you don't even know how big you are, and just God is going to imagine even bigger. Like, as much as you can imagine, and helping people and stuff like that, you're going to do. You don't even know what you're like. It's going to be amazing.
City
And with that, we're
Slickers.
going to go to commercial breaks.
City Slickers.
Oh, Urban Cowboy. I think it was John Travolta. God.
Love you, love said City Slickers.
That's it. It is City Slickers.
Wow,
Yeah,
love you,
I was
love
d-
for the prize tonight. We'll go ahead helping us out in the
Oh
chat.
my
Thank you, love you,
God.
love. Appreciate that.
Actually, I had a Lovey blanket company, so that's funny. Lovey, I did. Anyway, that's a long time ago. But are we going to commercial break?
Yeah, we are going to commercial. Thank you so much for being understanding of the commercial. I apologize for having to do that. We were asked to do that for the radio side, so bear with us, everyone. So on our side, we're gonna be kind of blank, staring into the screen. So there's gonna be muting. We can't talk because it will collect the audio, but the audience will hear the music between breaks. So just keep that in mind. I will let you know when we're back and ready to rock and roll. Okay, guys. All right, everyone. So here's going to be our very first break. And again, this is for the radio side. Stay tuned.
Knocked me onto another timeline. I don't know what timeline, or maybe another 20 and 20 back. And then I would have fell into that trap of the I don't knows and the, all the poor me state of mind. And, that it was kind of getting to that point early in the day. I was telling Dana, like, oh, I don't even care anymore. And, I was playing that poor me, victim instead of the survivor. And, that's what happened is that I was battling with that. And, when you start telling the truth, sometimes things come that are not pretty, that are not pretty. Energetic weapons, you know what I mean? Electromagnetic weapons. Gang stalkers. I was in the store today and I had somebody, peeping my kid, like staring at my kid. I mean, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, And as soon as I said something, he flailed, like he was gone. Like, so I know the difference between somebody who's watching me and who's not, because if they run like that, why are you running? Why can't you answer the question? Why can't you respectfully say, okay, you know what? I apologize for that. And that's what I've learned. And in some cases, because I had to apologize to the whole community, you understand? The altar that took full control of me, which was Danny, which, here we go, you want to understand a little bit about my Montauk experiences. It's coming now, so I'm just going to let it flow like a river. Anyways, there's a few individuals in the programs by the name of Arkeem. He goes by Ra. He was involved in this program with me. There was John Whitberg. I remember John Whitberg. I do remember Joseph Powell. See, everybody paints the Montauk as Preston being so good to people. Preston loved rapey type stuff. That was his thing. He loved watching it. Like even the deprogramming stuff. Okay. People have went there and they will not go back. And I don't blame, or they wouldn't go back now that he's gone. But now if you were really in Montauk, there's 4 Prestons. There's the Preston behind the computer. There's the evil Preston. And I don't know the other 2, but it's the truth. Doppel, however you say it, whatever. I don't really
I've heard that
care.
before. Yeah, Tony Rodriguez even talks about it. So yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a sick piece of. I mean, I remember him he would have us come to his home and deprogramming. It was literal masturbation in front of another man, and that's why they put the honey pots in there at times. Like with me, like, you meet, I met women in public where I've turned around and they were beautiful women and, wanted to talk, and I automatically picked up on it. But now it's like, I don't want to be that way the rest of my life. You know what I mean? On guard, but it's like, I got to be on guard. I have to stay shielded because I'm a warrior in a sense of this now. I'm a warrior, but teaching. Don't think that I won't hesitate to put my gloves back on if I had to save another kid. And that's what I meant when I was telling you about the boxing and so on and so forth. That's for real. Like hey, I can't tell you how my life has been the last year has been crazy.
Can you go in and describe Montauk and what it looked like and the facility? Because I know you sent pictures of
Oh yeah, the pictures were from another survivor, but yeah, that happens sometimes with fragmented memories, and sometimes I think that I don't want to talk about it. It's like part of me wants to talk about some of it, and then part of me is like, no. My memory of being in there was, they would have us do like, in the underground, they would have us do all kinds of things, different, like, training as far as assassination. They would, and somebody else had said this in an interview. I'm not going to say the man's name. He's highly targeted. Highly targeted, like, just because Duncan Cameron's name was written in a book does not mean that was the real Duncan Cameron. So let's just stop right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that goes to show how can somebody, from another country remember Montauk and everything underneath Montauk to a T and no names? And a lot of people are stuck on this Michael Aquino. What about Jack Pruitt? Why are people not talking about Jack Pruitt? He was there. Remember
Can you tell
him?
us who they are? Who you're speaking
Well, Jack
about?
Pruitt was he was like one of the I don't really know exactly what position. I just know he was not really nice of a person. I remember
Who's running Montauk? Who in your opinion is running it? It's obviously a government program. Like, who was it? The military? Was it like some black ops, right?
I was reared up there by other kids. You got to understand, once you go through the program and they break you enough, they send you out. And, especially teenagers. Oh, go for a ride with us. That's where the BMX bikes come in, and Stranger Things and all that other stuff. And yes, there was an arcade in Montauk. And that's where a lot of people are like, well, this isn't Montauk, but really parts of the show are really actually Montauk.
That's messed up. That's so messed up. Yeah. Stranger Things is a lot of that.
Well, we're the kids. We're the survivors partly of it. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people think that program ended, like it ended, but it didn't end. Pedophilia type stuff started happening on Camp Hero when it closed down.
So Rocko, can I ask you a question?
Nobody was still allowed on there till 2011.
Hey, Rocko.
State Park, can't you go behind the fence in a defunct area without getting arrested?
So Rocko, can I ask you a question? So
Yes.
when I was little, about the end of my time with the gray aliens or whatever, and I was transitioning into the skyships, I feel that you don't know really my story, but at that time, I was taken, and Pat Nixon got off of Air Force One and handed me a long stem rose. That's when my dad left or was fired and or quit, all these kinds of things. But I said this last week, it was about the same time. And I did not just talk about this in my book or anything like that. And this is why also I feel like my dad kept me from Montauk, because all of a sudden the pediatrician decided to give me antidepressants, or it was a syrup that he wanted my mom to give me. And I'm wondering if this is familiar to you, because thank God my mom would, well, I don't, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Because
a lot of it.
They were trying to say like more I was depressed. It wasn't like I'm hyper. I was not a hyper child or anything like that.
No. That's just a label. That's just a label.
I don't know what it was, but it was like a liquid. And I was little at the time. And thank God my mom was like, she was too much of a narcissist to remember to give me the prescription drug. And I'm kind of like, why are you people drugging me? So yeah, I feel like I was on the path. But I mean, I'm curious, because here I am in Minnesota, and now I know this other Minnesotan, but he was an adult. Were they just getting children that were near the Montauk area? Because I was kind of like, do you think, were there children from other areas? Like, would they have been like, okay, send Dana to this summer camp? And that might have been the beginning for me.
I swear I'm looking at you right now, and I remembered you from Montauk.
Well,
you can say I don't remember it, whatever, but eventually it's going to sink in.
Just physically, I was never there. Physically, I was never there.
No. That's what I mean. In another realm,
but I mean,
realm, something like that, maybe. You know what I mean? The possibilities are endless.
So then that's what I was saying before, and I don't mean to be that's what I was kind of trying to talk about before when we were going through like the healing process. I feel like, because I know you were talking about feeling that you were seeing my face, and I'm going to say this to you in a way of theoretically. I feel like, think about this just for a minute. now that we met and you're thinking back to that time, my feeling is, and this is just from me, that you were seeing my face or me there, which is you bringing in my energy, which is how I could unlock that door for you, which is how that helped me find the right page for you to be in this timeline, because I had to go get you from the other timelines, if that makes any sense. I had to come and collect you and
Correct.
bring you here. Otherwise, how could I stop all those pages?
Yes.
So it's not that I was literally there. It's an implant of me, my signature being there, because I had to come and collect you and bring you here. And that's how, or what I feel and know is the truth of that. But it's also that I escaped it. I narrowly escaped it, and I didn't come to this realization until just a few months ago. You know, because now that I'm coming out of the cosmic closet, I'm putting all the pieces together. I'm piecing my lineage together as much as you are, you know, to what is the truth and stuff like that. So I feel as if a part of what I'm trying to help is, because I'm coming from a different thing, and there's different things. We're very similar. That's how we're family familiar. But I got to escape. And then you were able to still bring my signature in. And that's how I could unlock that door for you. Does that make sense? Does that feel about right?
Total sense, because I don't feel like I'm connected. I mean, I feel I'm still have this connection to it, but I don't feel like I have to like push at it too much. You know
Right.
what
That
I mean?
went away. That went away.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I don't want you to be tied to it. The
No,
anchor
I
can't be there anymore, because you can't. I mean, you can have it, and that's why literally about an hour ago I said small, small, small. And remember, and then you and Coley were saying that. I'm like, I said, make it small, small, small. Do to them what they did to you. Make it small, because I'm like, I don't want that timeline to be big in your thinking, because your focus has to be on the future. So that's why what they small, small, because that's in your past. You know it.
Yeah.
But you're going forward now. You know, you're going forward, and now you're on one page, which is amazing. So all of your strength and power now is on this page, and now they can't F with you, right? Because, you know, that Bruce Lee thing. Remember we talked about that?
Right. Yeah.
And you don't have to fight, because now you're the warrior in the garden. You're the warrior in the garden. Your center is peace. So, and that's how that is. But I just had to ask, because I feel like I was being set up and groomed. So again, back to the question, are you aware of, were all the children from what you experienced like local, or did they bring in some other children from across the United States? How did that play out? And how did you get there? How did you get there legitimately?
Well, I was 3 years old. I had my first ET contact, and it was with the Greys. And
How
they
old were
were
you?
green, like a green, flickering like a light bulb. My mom said she saw this. She watched it. She witnessed it. I was in between her and my father, and they were looking at me. And then as time went on, I started remembering not wanting to go in my room for some reason and sleep, because I knew I was being abducted and taken somewhere, but I didn't know how to say anything to anybody. And I just totally just suppressed all of that stuff. I suppressed it. I didn't start getting my memories till around 2014. But then it was like I did what they called let's run to every psychic and do all this stuff, right? And then I spoke with the real Montauk boy, and he actually activated my Montauk memories. So that's where those Montauk memories came in. That was Joe Lafrino. Wonderful man. He was a park maintenance guy there, worked there, and you know, he remembered the upside down house. I mean, there's so much to Montauk. It's like Oh, it's just horrible. I remember, like, okay, so I wasn't following an order, right? And I remember being brought into a room, strapped down, and made to watch kids getting eaten by reptilians and body parts. And, me and Joseph Powell uncovered a lot of this. The electrical fences where they'd make you hold on, like electrocution, like a style of electrocuting you. Pretty messed up stuff. Pretty messed up, horrible stuff. Killing animals, killing innocent civilians. That's another thing. They grab people just to use them for, one of the assassins, targets that they're told, okay, as soon as the bag is pulled off the head, I want you to just go ahead and, pull that's it. And, you don't, so I'd be like, sometimes I'd fight with it. I'd be like, I wouldn't want to do it. I was very, I didn't follow rules too well, because I knew that I was more powerful and I could be out of there, but I just needed to find my way, and I found my way. And I've been talking about keys, funny speaking, the last couple of weeks. I've been talking about keys. Unity is the key. On my YouTube channel, you noticed I use unity, crushing division. Talking about crushing division and bringing in unity. And then here we are. I talked about the keys to success. And then, boom, here it is. So yeah, it is an implanted thought, because I had to go back to that time, you know what I mean? That time to get to this time, basically.
Right. But I couldn't come and collect you if you didn't see me there, right? And I had to come and collect you from every timeline you had, because I had to reach out and get you. And you got that. And the pages are flipping, like, people don't understand. I'm like, you and I get it, because we were there. Yeah. I know. But that's why, because I knew when you were saying that, even before the healing started and stuff like that. Oh,
I was going from hot to cold, hot to cold, hot to cold, hot to cold. As soon as you said, well, I did it, it's when it kicked right in. I immediately started to, like, profusely, like, spiritually sweat. Like, and it still happens.
Right.
And
but
then,
you got it. But you knew you did it. You knew.
I'm centering myself. I'm learning, even walking down the road sometimes, like the road might go like this or go like this, but I say, okay, I got to stay centered and look forward. That's the whole thing. Because what the, being such a, powerful mover and shaker, you got to be in the middle so you can hold down both sides. So you can, keep yourself focused to move forward.
Right. And that's what I've been, is the eyes on the ground. I've been, as far as the Galactic Federation, I've had to witness. I'm a witness because I'm making sure everybody's playing fair. And that's how I know, like, all these things are happening. It's hard to explain this to a lot of people. I know you get it, but that's why when you were saying, oh, I see you here, and I'm like, no, you don't. What you're seeing, and I knew this ahead of the time, because this was a day or two ahead of this situation, but like, I knew, I think I'm repeating myself. This is the third time I said it. You had to see me there, because how else could I be there? How else could I help to collect your soul? It's not me. I'm just doing it. But I came and collected all the little pieces as a soul retrieval. Let's put it that way. As a soul retrieval, if I was a shaman and we're doing a soul retrieval, I'm just the mom coming to collect her children, and I'm helping you to collect yourself. And now you are collected and you are on this timeline. And it's amazing, because a lot of people don't get this. A lot of people can't do this work, and you did it fabulously. And the thing of it is like, now you know what we did, and you're able to do the situation for yourself in the future. And anybody who's been to Montauk or any of these kinds of things, they can pick up on this frequency as well, and you can help them with this. That's my belief.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, that's cool. Thank you for contacting me. I'm glad I could help you. You're like, whatever. It's a thing. It's not. So here's the thing. Here's how I am. It's like a lot of this is big, but a lot of it you have to make not so big, because we talked about the jocularity and like, oh, what was I so afraid of when you go off planet, when you die, actually you leave here. I think about Bewitched and Samantha, and I loved her because she was always like, and that's how I do things, because it's like everybody's like, they got to make it so big. And I'm like, that's not how, if you believe in God or source energy, that's not how God works. That's not how miracles are and stuff like that. You can make it big if you want it to be heavy. But, like, what did Yoda say? He had Luke, raise that wing fighter thing out of the swamp, la la la. It's just perspective, that's the whole thing. So it's kind of like, and I think they don't want us to know that. They want us to like, oh, I'm gonna have to spend 10 years meditating my navel to get this. It's like, no, dude, we're in a new world. This is the new time, and we need to like be up to date with all of this. So you got it. You clicked. You're on point. You're in 2024. It's fabulous. I'm just amazed that you got it. Because like I said, I work with other people and they're like, ooh, they keep falling back. They keep like, they go back to sleep again. They go back to sleep. We're waking people up, man. It's a prison break. I said that last week. I'm here again. It's prison break. Let's go, people. I meant it when I said it 100%. An elephant's word. Whatever. 100%. Whatever. La, la, la. Seriously. As I laugh.
That's fantastic. You guys up for audience? You guys up for questions
yeah,
from the audience?
Hell.
Coley, what do you think? You ready for that? Or questions from people? Okay. So we got the first question. It was from Woo Rider. Woo Rider TG.
Derek.
Yeah.
Hey.
Asks, does your guest know who is alt? I'm guessing who your alters are. I don't even know what that means. What is an altar?
Oh.
What is it?
Okay, so alter is programmed into you while you're in these programs, different programs, and they can be associated with different programs. Like Danny is one of them. Danny was in the Time Soldier program with Joseph Powell, Kimberly Murphy. There's several people that were involved in that program, but that's where the Omega. I don't really want to. I want to try to stay away from the negative as much as possible. And I want to stay more in the positive. Now, if it's in regards to things that are still going on, and I know that they're going on, and people need to start hitting their local, politicians and saying, hey, listen, if you don't, start this, because we know you're running a human trafficking or whatever, that's so huge now too. And it's done by churches. They sell children. The state of Missouri, you talk about kids going missing and going to Montauk. I was in foster care here in the state of Missouri,
Oh, man.
later in my teenage years. And, they tried to steal me from my mom. So the programming kept going on. Waterboarding, beatings on a regular basis, forced indoctrination. You don't take your medication, you're being restrained by 5 other kids. I mean, I always say this: do I have a right to be angry or not?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these fucking people, they're walking around, pardon my language, they're walking around free as a bird.
Mm-hmm.
And they've done damage to many, 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 many kids. And it's also tied into mind control as well. So they're basically a part of our, of the source here, because the stuff that they do and the forced indoctrination and the, stuff that it's horrible. It's horrible, because it turns into more than one thing. So that's what I mean. My memories I got a lot of fragmented memories, but I got to work through them. It's a process. It's a process.
Okay. Then I appreciate you sharing this information. I know it's probably tough to share. Again, I don't know the experience, but I understand that these things can be hard to share with people in the first place. And I had a question. When did you say you first encountered I believe you said the Greys? How old were you?
I was 3 years old.
I thought I was mistaken when you said that. Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. So the next question is, one second here. Sorry, I have to pull that back up. Where did you go? So I don't know how to ask this question. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to skip that because I don't know how to ask it. If you have a question, anybody, please kind of repost that, because one of them, the last question from, I think, from Chris, I didn't quite understand what that said, but Polly says, going back in your two stories, where did they start to connect together? When did everything start to kind of piece itself to make this coherent picture about what happened to you to make sense?
Between the two of us, or his
it would be for Rocko. I'm sorry, Dana.
For Rocko, yeah.
Yep, this is for Rocko.
Yeah.
What do they mean by two piece?
So I think
I
don't think they mean literally two pieces. I think
that question is a little too, like, let's test this advancement. Look, you want to know the truth? I was tortured. I was raped. I had rituals done on me. Do you want me to go deep? Because I'll go deep. I could give you nightmares. If that's what you want, it's your choice.
No, we'll save that for another episode. We won't get too dark.
Yeah, no. But if people want to, start trying to ask questions in a way that kind of sound a little, let's test him. Let's see that, not everybody's together. We're broken. People. We're broken. Wake up. We got a freaking reptilian shape-shifting freaking people on this planet. Oprah Winfrey, I went on her jet, okay, when I was a kid. Why the hell would I be going on her jet? And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that question that was asked, now I'm just a little bit like, kind of like that question kind of rubbed me wrong.
Rocko, remember, they're not there to trigger you. They're asking questions because they don't know.
I understand. A two piece. Just ask me my experience. When did it start? 2014, and I picked up a bottle of vodka and started taking pills and suicidal thoughts and, going out there and playing around with evil. Going out there playing around with evil, and opening up, doors in my mind that I wasn't ready. I basically pushed the start of this. I did it to myself because I dove into the research. And when I dove into the research, I started asking my mom questions. She said, yeah, I remember signing permission slips for you to go to Montauk. Yeah, I remember this event. And everything I said last night in the show I did last night, if people were listening, my mom messaged me this morning and said, thank you for telling the truth. She said, what I'm doing is good. She's looking forward to the book. That's another thing. There's a book called More to Life Than Montauk in the process. And what I'm going to explain in there is how you can break away from even wanting to know the memories. Some of the memories I don't want to remember. I don't want to remember. I would rather have the sovereignty. I would rather have the unity, and I'd rather be ready for what's about to come. Because a lot of people don't understand we are in deep trouble if we don't wake up and put each other's differences aside and move forward. And unfortunately, we have people that are cloned. We can go into that. We have some people that are on the side of Mars in a cage. We can go into that, the real them. But the person that's here is not really them.
Mhm.
So the next
There's a
question-
lot of that as well.
The next question is for Dana. Actually, I don't know what this means.
Hmm.
So who is G-D? GD? God?
G-D?
Maybe
Are they saying
maybe
God?
they didn't type in God. Maybe they just put
Hmm.
G. I'm thinking that's what they
Oh,
meant.
who do I think is God?
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, I
I
think
don't
so.
know. Good question. The divine spark? I don't even know. You? Me? All of us? I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know. That's a good question, right? I don't know. There's some form of intelligence. I don't know. Or maybe not. But I do know that energy continues and energy continues on. I've met other realms. I've met dead people. I've been brought up to heaven. And that isn't even like, what the heck was that all about? But anyway, yeah, so that's God. I'm like, I don't know. God. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, God is good in my world. God is good. God is great. And yeah, that's where I stay focused. Not the alternative. So that's where I go. And I think that's where our souls come from. I think we're a part, maybe we're a part of some strange amoeba. We're just like a part of a tree. But I think we're all the same. And even the negative ones, I don't know. I don't even like to go there or think about that, but it's all a learning curve. We're all here for a lesson. I don't know. We're all frequency. It's a part of frequency. We're all part of the spectrum of light. I don't know. It's a good question. It's very deep. Coffee.
What is the
We'll talk
nature of
about it.
reality? Who is God?
Yeah, I don't even know. That's huge. Like, we don't have enough time for all that. It's whatever you want it to be. I don't know. I'm just saying that I've chosen, and there's that saying, hurt people, and I hate that, and it's true. But for me in my realm, it's like hurt people help people, because it's like, why would you want to hurt anybody because you've been hurt? Like, why would you do that? You know how it feels. And so, like, to me, that's God. Like, let's all be kind to one another. And I think what Rocko was saying, see, last week I talked about our thoughts and what we're creator. Remember that? Like, what are we creating? And we need to be very strong and manifesting our thoughts and keeping it on the positive. So while Rocco can be cleaning up on aisle 9 over here, we can try to create a divinity, like something divine, a divine future, and not have the 2030 New World Order regime who can't create because they're artificial intelligence. They speak to a different God, not my God. It's a different thing. I don't even know what that is. So that's why we have to be in our unity. That's why we have to raise our vibrations, and we have to be together. Why are humans ripping each other apart? That's false. So as long as we are brethren and we stay united and we unite in love and we raise our vibrations, and that sounds like toxic positivity. I'm not talking about that. Because let's just be mindful for a hot second. This isn't like, oh, flowers and love all the time. We've been in hell. We've gone through hell, and so we can hold hell, and we know what love is. I mean, like, that's the whole balance. It's not the toxic positivity saying hell doesn't exist. We're saying hell exists. Let's take a damn look at it. And we're choosing this realm over here. And that's what I think Rocco's speaking to. And he's trying to fight for a positive outcome, a positive future. And that's why I wanted him to shift to that too, because they were trying to keep in this other fragmented sense. I think that's what's happening to a lot of people. And as we all awaken, we have to make a choice, but it's not a toxic positivity. It's truth and balance of, we've been here, we're going here. We're not going to continue with this timeline. This is bullshit. We're going to be whole, holy humans, man. We're taking power now. We're getting our power back and we're being sovereign. Rocko now is on one page, and that is where his power is, because all of his power from all the other pages is now here. And that's what we have to do. So that's my 2 cents.
So you think we can affect collectively the future?
We are creators. Yeah, that is the question to God. We are creators. There you go. There's your question. There's your answer. Yeah, creator. We are all part of the divine. We are creators. We can create. That's the amazing thing. And we can have choices and we can do it. We got crayons. Let's do it. They don't. They can't. And that's the difference between us and them. And that's why they want to use little children and do these horrible things to them. And they want to take away their energy and their power. And that's the thing that I was witness to. Well, this stuff was going on with Rocko. I was witnessing what they did, all that kind of stuff on a different ethereal level. That's a whole nother story. But we are divine creators. We are part of creation. And that is our sovereign truth. Go creator, stay a whole holy human.
Yeah.
And your cloud popping works. I just wanted to let you know. I tried that over and over again. I even took Brody out, and it works. I was like, whoa, this is so cool.
Yeah. Did I just blow your mind with that one?
Yes.
I'm telling you people.
So I was taking it. So we went out.
Explain to people what that is. The cloud popping.
So Dana tells me
it's not zip popping.
No. You're taking out clouds. And at first it took me a little bit longer, but I really did, and it was really pushing my prefrontal cortex out there to the cloud. And I kept thinking of you saying pop, 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 and those pop. Yeah. And it really did. And I got quicker at it. And I was like, watch that one right there. And then I got bigger ones. And I'm like,
I know
this is really exciting. So it does show. And I said, Brody, Dana sent this for you. And I said, and she said, if she had this information at your age, everything would have been so different, and how much control and how much participation you actually have in this. So I think that's great. I just have to tell you that.
Thank you that you did that. And so people who I wrote a book and all this kind of stuff, but at the end of the book, I wasn't going to put all these energy exercises in, but the energy exercises I put in are baby steps and stuff like that for you to be a whole holy human. It's a prison break. We need to know that we are divine creator. What's wrong with that? It's not sinful. It's not evil. The evil, simple people are doing it. As Rocko's talking about, we need to take our power back too. So I have easy baby things that'll blow your mind. And thank you, Coley, that you actually tried it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it was great.
Go out and do it, you guys. Get the end of the book, read it. Just rip out those last 30 pages. I don't even care. But I mean, I'm telling you, this is a prison break. We are divine. We are co-creators. We are whole holy humans. And I'm trying to get everybody to understand that. This isn't about me. This is about all of us. And it's you could call it a holy war. I don't like to use the word war because it's kind of negative, but there's a struggle between positive and negative, and I'm on one side, and the other side is trying to put us down, man. And so it's you need to understand you're a participant in this life. Life isn't happening to you. You are participating in it. Go get your crayons, man. Get that 164. What's the big box of crayons now? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I love those.
Get the 164 with the sharpener in the back, man. That rich people had that. I could get the 12 pack or the broken ones. I got the bag of broken ones from my sister. So anyway, but I'm telling you, people, yeah, that is it. God, you want to know God? You're God. You're God. You're God. You're God. You're God. You're God. We are co-creators. Get out there. Do it. And so thank you. I'm so glad you did it. And then you reported back to me. Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's amazing. Feeling to get better from here.
And your son knows about it too, man. Wow. Look at him take off. That's going to be amazing. That's crazy.
Yeah, we're excited.
I just discovered a man named Donald Hoffman. He's just some kind of researcher into a bunch of different things. And again, I literally just discovered him yesterday. He talks about the fact that evolution is hiding something from us. or that there's that it hides the truth about the nature of reality. He studies neurology and the brain and some
Hmm.
stuff like that. Again, I'm a brand new guy, just discovered. But one of the things that I've seen or heard from a lot of what he talks about is that this idea that like our brains are more like they're trying to translate reality for us. They are not. They're not just translating. They're actually creating it, and
Mhm.
that the idea of quantum entanglement,
Mhm.
how there are these particles or whatever, they're not even there unless we're observing them.
Yes, that's quantum
So
physics.
quantum
Yes.
entanglement, I believe it's called. So
Yes.
like the idea that there's this nature to existence that we think that things are there, and we're just kind of experiencing and navigating through this life that's already there. But actually, it's all the vastness of space is actually within you, and
Hmm.
you are creating different aspects of this whole reality as moment to moment. I don't understand fully. I'm really trying to learn more about it, but it's very
Hmm.
interesting, and it's reminiscent of what you're talking about. Like it made me think, oh wow, like the idea we're creating this experience. It's again, you would think, oh, this is insane stuff. Well, guess what?
Hmm.
There are valid researchers who are talking
Hmm.
about this very thing,
Hmm.
being something that it's hard for the mainstream scientific community to accept because you can't put it in a box. It's out.
Hmm.
It's literally outside of the box of this reality.
Hmm.
So what you're talking about, in my opinion, is just a kind of dipping our toes into the nature of something else, something more than just this physical reality.
Right. I
Yeah.
wrote about that in my book, and it's like I can't remember what the term is, but it's like the witness effect. It's that
Yeah, yeah,
cells, they'll just do their merry old thing, but then once the cells, like it's kind of like a child or a cat or a dog, like once they know that you're witnessing them, they shift. They'll change. They'll do something different. It's the witness effect. I'm sorry, that's probably the wrong term. I wrote about it in my book, but yeah, so I knew as a child, I'm like, oh my God, in my lifetime, science is going to prove God. Because basically that's what you're doing is you're proving God. And literally that also proves, and I said this last week, that is the power of prayer. Because what Cully was talking about, we were talking about cloud busting when you can go out and make a long story short, you can look at clouds and you can pop your frontal cortex at the clouds, and two clouds will be there. The one cloud just page, got to get my book, go read it, whatever, la 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 la. But what I tried to say is like when you do this towards a cloud, there is no difference in nature. Nature shows us the repetitions. See, because like Rocko was stuck in a circular circle. He was stuck in this circle, and that's what nature shows us, these circles, and I had to stop that. But so the thing of it is like cloud busting is no different than healing cancer or your prayer. People think they pray. Christians are like, oh, they pray, and they just think like, oh, that was something nice that I did. No, your thought, word, and deed went out into the ethers, and it affected something. And that's exactly how Rocko was able to find me, through his thought, word, and deed. It was his prayer, and he found me because this physical, last week I was like, we're dense, and it's dense, and it's hard to be dense, but our true nature is etheric. Our true nature is frequency. Our true nature is light and love and all those kinds of things. And so when we start to open our minds up to this concept, man, and see, that's what they don't. And remember last week I also talked about yoga, because when Britannia went to India and they found the yogis, and the yogis are like, screw you, British. And because they're like, we're sovereign, man, we're good, we're chilling, we don't need you assholes. Sorry, excuse me, I'm swearing. But I'm like, so they said that to the militia, but and so now we have to like make yogi or doing yoga evil. Because you know why? Because these people were sovereign. They knew their place in the universe. They knew everything. They knew they were creator. They were co-creators on this planet. And our eyeballs, and also in my book, I'm like, we see less than 1%, but our eyeballs are only a little this lens that's attached to our brain, and our brain has to interpret it. And so there's all these other levels that are actually could be going on. Like my eyesight is different than yours eyesight, than your eyesight. Our oculars are different colors. Man, it's a mixed up, crazy world. But what's the truth? The truth is frequency, man. And we can mess with it. We can work with it. We are creators. So that's pretty cool, if you ask me.
Frequency.
Like, yeah, it's
That's
cool.
it.
Like
Yeah.
reality is more cool than the stupid dense. Like I love Doritos. I'm not so much into football, but I always reference football. I'm like, you can sit there and be a muggle and a normie, but man, when you open yourself up to science, because science, like, yeah, science is amazing right now. Science is more amazing than religion. Religion's getting kind of dull. So, well, actually, when we're busting open the real sense of, because Rocko would tell you the real sense of religion, because I guarantee you he's got some thoughts on that one. Religion is this, but science is busting open religion, man. And science is actually telling us that we are a part of God. We are co-creators. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much.
No, you're
My
not.
husband will
That's
tell
what
you
we
that.
do here. No, it's
Okay.
the whole point. That's the whole point. You're supposed to talk
I'm
too
just
much.
like
No, there's
Anyway.
I was reading the Eighth Tower and John Keel, the Eighth Tower. And in that book he mentions the data on paranormal phenomena as well as psychic phenomena and extra human abilities and UFOs, and how there's this connection to frequencies and certain, I guess I don't know how to say it, but energies that can't be perceived sometimes by instruments, but can be perceived by the human. Somehow we can perceive these things. He talks about the biology of this, and it's really interesting stuff. But long story short, when you mention frequencies, I'm like, holy crap, that's it. Frequencies. I've been hearing about frequencies the last 24 hours.
I'd rather be on higher vibration and higher frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be low. I want to be
Right.
high.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
that's why, like, even gratitude, like Johnny said, gratitude is the best antidepressant. Okay, pharma is not the answer to everything. That's the problem too. Pharma, big bucks, making money. What else are they doing with that money? Where's all this money going to? All the children. And that's what we need to worry about, really, are the children, this generation now, so they don't have to go through what we all went through. That's what we need to stop. I can sit there and talk about my memories and everything, for hours, but what about the solution?
Right. That's what we're here for.
We're getting
That's
there.
what we're here for.
What about
I
the
think you're talking
solution?
about it. You're talking about
Yep.
it.
Just
Because-
buy my book. Just buy my book when it's out, called, More to Life Than Montauk, and then you will understand where this has all come together. Because several times throughout this journey since 2014, when it began, there was always something to do with somebody would tell me, somebody has a key. Somebody has a key for you to unlock your DNA codes. Someone has a key for you. It's going to come. It's going to happen. And then, boom, it happened. It happened. It happened. I'm a testimony of it. I feel like a whole new person today. I don't feel like the person I was, a few days ago. Actually, it's been now 2 days. And I, we'll talk about the memories, but I try not to stay stuck in a memory as much as what can we do? Are we really going to, we need to promote, save our children, but really promote, not do a Paris Hilton. I'm going to make money off of a bunch of survivors and really I'm a part of an elite family as it is. So yeah, I'm sorry, Paris. Hate to bust your bubble, Mrs. TTI survivor. A lot of people know about you in the TTI industry, and they know you're not.
So Rocko, what is the TTI industry? You can explain.
That is just the troubled teen industry. So what they basically do is, like when I was in foster care, after seeing my father murdered in front of me at 14 now. So now my grandparents told me they wanted me back, and the sheriff came in and told me my family don't want me. And all that time was because DFS wanted a check. Division of Family Service Leagues wanted a check. Well, I ended up in that situation from 13. I was 13 going on 14 up to about 16, where my mom found me in the middle of Kansas City and had to basically steal me back because I was bruised up, beat up, it was horrible. What they do is, in this state here, you do not need a permit to buy a house and house a bunch of women or house a bunch of boys, okay? And there's some sick, twisted people out there that do this, and their intentions are behavioral modification, okay? But in the state of Missouri, there has been a law passed, but Governor Parson, you're not doing your job. You're not doing your job. There's more out there. Kids are dying. They're dying because of this.
So Rocco, Paris Hilton, is she the opposite? Because like you would be perhaps maybe lower income. She's higher echelon income, but she's not being monitored by parents as well. So I mean, like she grew up in a hotel. I mean, that's epic right there. So are you feeling that, because like I know a lot of rich kids that just weren't monitored, their parents are doing their business and all they have nannies, they have this, that, and the other thing. So are you saying that your two worlds, like the lower income kids and kids that were in foster programs, and somebody such as Paris Hilton, who had wealthy parents, but they were absent just as well, but they had money. So are you saying that she was in it as a troubled teen, and or probably, I don't want to get into the whole realm of Hollywood, is that how is this the same thing?
She's an ops to the community. Money went missing. You know how it goes.
Oh, so she was funding it, you would say?
There's a lot to it. Just put it that way.
Yeah, he has to be careful with that. For yourself.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry, because I'm sure there's parameters, and like I'm new to the whole thing.
I'm so tired of the truth not being put out. Like I said, it is what it is. I'm going to tell the truth at all costs.
Well, I think it's slowly starting to roll out. It's slowly, because I think it needs to roll out slowly so that the normies can handle it. Because I think if it all came out at the same time really, really fast, they would just,
I'd make your head explode.
Yeah, I don't think they get so I think it's like the Epstein thing, and Oprah's going to be next. I don't even know, but all that stuff. I mean, she was kind of busted a few years ago.
We got to go to. We have 1 minute before break. I'm so sorry, guys. There is a lot to this last hour. A lot more than I expected, to be totally honest. So we're gonna need to continue this if you guys don't mind afterwards.
Yeah.
There were a few questions, but I want to focus on what you just said, because I feel like there's more to say, mostly about the solution, because people are asking questions about the solution, but also about some of your experiences with relation to phenomena, because there's a lot. So just give me hang tight. We're gonna go over some there. You were right, Rocko. There's got to be another part to this, because first of all, there's no way we can get you and Dana on any one show to talk about anything, to talk about everything in one. It's not gonna happen. We need more time for this stuff. So we'll continue after the break. All right, guys. So hang tight. We'll be right back, everybody. Stay tuned. We got the tunes playing for the next couple minutes, so stay tuned for that. I'm gonna mute you all, by the way, in the background, so keep that in mind. All right.
Get 'em on.
Marquise, your host, with Coley, my co-host. She's actually kind of like the host. She's the one who brings all these people together. I don't really
we are.
stop playing Coley. She does all this. She does all the work. I'm just sitting here. I'm just a face on the screen. That's all.
No.
We are talking to
Real.
Rocko and Dana right now. So we're on Helix Rock Radio. In case you were all wondering, if you want to see us live, we are also on YouTube. You can have the conversation in the chat too. It's very difficult to get through a lot of these because there's so many questions we have for people. I'm sorry, questions that people have for us and our guests. So we're going to try to get through some of those. There are quite a few, which is awesome. We love to see people putting questions in the chat. That means you're engaged. That means you really want to know about what the guests are talking about. And that means you're invested in the guests and their stories and their experiences, which are really important because each one of us has a story and an experience that nobody believes. I mean, we tell them to people and half the people believe, half the people don't. So it's important that you guys are engaging with our guests, letting them know that you are interested, that you do believe what they have to say, or at least that you're trying to learn about them and respecting their experience. So thank you for that. So we were talking about before a lot, but let's kind of zero in on some of these things. I would like to, if it's okay, unless you have something else you want to talk about some of the more fringe side of things, the paranormal, these the non-human encounters, aliens, whatever. You mentioned the Grays. Someone in the chat wants to know, Polly, were there other beings and that you had encounters with, and do they have different agendas if there are other beings besides Grays? You said reptilians too, so kind of got an idea what you think about that.
Draco, or Draco, some people call it. Pretty much, honestly, like, I have to be real. I have no recollection of a positive outcome or, encounter with another being. They were always just, I remember the stench was like sulfur when it came to the reptilians, and Preston used to hang out with them. I mean, there's all kinds of stories, but I'm not getting into his whack job, pedophile. Not giving him credit.
Who is Preston? You mentioned this person several. I don't know who this is.
Preston Nichols was the quote unquote operator and got the radar tower and all that. No, I don't think he was as. I don't know. Because there were several of them. So how many? You know what I mean? Like what? And that was all. That's been left out. It's not even in the actual book that Peter Moon wrote. Nothing. That was just whitewashed. Nothing about Preston coming forward and saying he raped children. Nothing about none of that. I mean, the problem is when Bill Clinton, like the whole situation with the mind control, then they only got a slap on the wrist. We apologize for human experimentation. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think? Like, even in the schools, you have chairs underneath, trip chairs where, they can do stuff. They can, take your mind and elsewhere, like, and take your astral body and leave you. And then it's like, I'll feel like I'm actually literally falling back into my body sometimes when I'm waking up. So I've been astrally taken. My astral body's been taken.
Preston was a handler at Montauk, correct? So there was a Preston.
Absolutely.
That's who he was. Yes.
I believe he was.
Rocko, your mic is a little off. I don't know what's going on. Somebody said there's static. I just caught it. There's like a staticky. I think it's.
There you go. That's good.
It's good.
It's better.
I don't know
Okay, yeah, I was hitting it too. I was making sure it wasn't mine.
Yeah, I was checking mine out.
Sorry, Rocko. Please.
No, what is it? What now? Hold on. The trip chairs and stuff we were talking about. Trying to get back on course here. That's what I mean. Fragmented memories. So much. It's literally like a whole book, and it's just like every page is just something else, and it's so detailed like where like I have the ability to go in and like open up a portal, like, and I was looking at an individual and I found out that the individual that had an altar had a demon attached. So I hit that demon with a psionic cannon, and I shrunk the cannonball down, dropped it in, aimed it at not at the person now, but at the altar, that was being possessed because it was attacking me. And then it stopped attacking me. Like these spiritual methods work. They work, but you got to be willing to do the work. And no, it's definitely painful. In the beginning of this process, I felt pains throughout my whole body. I felt pains, like, from memories, like, and then, it was almost like a do-over, but like, okay, so even though a story ends positive or ends negative, people, you can always reverse engineer that and you can turn it to a positive and make your ending of the story a positive ending, not a negative ending. So end cap your story with a positive ending so you can change that. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of psionics and having those tools and fortress shielding yourself and making sure you're protected.
So then I'm going to ask the next question from this is Polly. You are like blowing up these questions. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate the seriously, Polly's got like so have you visited? I'm sorry.
No, I said that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's awesome. Have you visited other planets, whether they be like energetically? I'm not sure. Again, I don't understand how the process works. So correct my terminology here.
My space memories aren't really too intact, but the other night was really weird. And I woke up with a mark on my chest. I could pull my shirt up, and it's definitely right here. It's like a triangle. I believe it's this side, or actually, I think it's this side, the right side. But I had went to sleep, and I ended up on we were put into a mission, me and our team Ra, and we were made to go and be like watchers of these kids in cages on, I believe it was Mars, somewhere on Mars, because there's a huge city on Mars. I do know that much. And you can actually breathe better there than this crud here. It's like the air is much better there than it is here. But we reversed that operation and we saved the children. We rescued the children and we got them. I can't remember where it was. All I remember was we woke up and I looked over at him and we both smiled at each other and said, wow, we just did it. You know what I mean? We just did it. And yeah, they came in, they were all angry. I remember seeing that. They were not happy at all. And next thing you know, I woke up in my bed and I had the triangular mark. But there was, well, the mark didn't happen that time. The mark happened when I was abducted. Obviously, Johnny said that a triangle is an indication of contact. And that's when I had the memory of me and Art on a craft. It was triangular shaped. And there was military presence. And there was also, it was Draco. And they were doing something with some type of object. I can't remember what it was. I think they were taking DNA samples or something, because that's what it appears to be like. Like it was scabbed over, though. The next day, it was like scabbed over. And I looked down, I pulled my shirt up, and I looked up at it, and I'm like, boom. And that's when the memory just started. It came to me, and it was a very depressing time for me, like, in a way. Because it was not. I felt the pain that I felt during the experience, if you understand what I'm saying. So I relived the experience, but also felt it while I was reliving it. So, like a lot of times, I don't even know where I go, but I'll wake up and I'll feel like I can't walk, or not anymore, not lately, but you know, I gotta be on the lookout for that, you know, before I get into when I go to bed, pray before I go to bed, do different things, chain random acts of kindness, and all kinds of things, like different things to try to warn that off. And usually when you bring in the light, it knocks the dark completely out. So the more
Rocko,
become.
can you do me a favor? Can you check your audio? Because it is crackling. I just want people to be able to hear you full, and it stops when you do it. Maybe like there's a loose cord, just so we can hear you and get all the information.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's gone now.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Great. Thank you so much. Keep going. I'm sorry.
All right.
Sorry, Rocko.
Yeah, no, it's wild. It's wild. The whole thing's wild. All these experiences.
Yeah, thank you for.
I sometimes.
Yeah, I can understand the frustration with the fragmented memories, like as an experiencer with ET and waking up with weird markings and strange markings and having just pieces, those fragments of the memories that you try and make sense out of. Yeah, it is very frustrating. Very frustrating.
Well, I mean, it is what it is, but I'm not gonna. If I remember it, I remember it. If I don't, I don't.
You're not going to remember everything. That's a problem. It's like you get those fragments. Yeah. So nobody expects you, like, especially like here, because we have a lot of people that have had experiences with ET, and nobody has total recall. Nobody does.
No, I don't have total recall. I mean, yeah. I've had total recall that shape-shifting reptilians abusing that girl in that room. They were breaking me down more so I would get in the chair, because I was the type of kid that would not sit in the Montauk chair without being told. Like,
can I ask you what the Montauk chair is?
It's used to manipulate the mind and the brain patterns and steal your consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't make it back to their bodies. And you go through like a wormhole. Mm-hmm. And that's what I remember, going through a wormhole. And then when poof, I'd be in that time, but then coming back, you never know if you're gonna make it. And a lot of kids, they just die in the chair. That's it.
So then,
I mean, kids
so
died.
What's the purpose of it?
Kids died, thousands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what is the whole purpose behind sitting in the Montauk chair? Like, what are they trying to achieve by that?
You to go on missions, complete those missions, come back from completing those missions. And a lot of times the kids don't even make it through the mission.
I've heard that.
End up lost in time.
I've heard that before. I've heard a lot of people that when they've gone through, they've lost body parts and all sorts of things when they were trying to send them through things that they shouldn't have gone through. But that's such an experimentation, and I'm really sorry that happened to you. That should never have happened to you.
You just like said the next 2 weeks of my life, because I don't even know about this Montauk project. I've been looking this up while we were talking, and holy crap.
Yeah.
I need to, because I have to look into this before I make
it. But not everything you look up on the internet is the truth.
Well,
like this said,
don't worry. I didn't get this far believing everything I heard on the internet.
I shared that link, Rocko, that I shared with you the other day, that I thought maybe would help people to understand some of your, like, kind of the superpowers and what you're talking about when you mention how you combat things and and stuff like that. The one I sent you the other day, you said that was very interesting. So I put that in the group chat, and hopefully will kind of help the group, people in the chat understand a little bit more about what you're talking about too. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. No, what I mean is the book was whitewashed. Like, Preston did not. I can't get over the fact that people like look up to this man. Like, oh, I wish he was still alive. I'm like, nah, thank God, that pedophile, no good, dirty. Even down to, I remember he had only cheese in his refrigerator. I caught that recall with somebody else, and they sent me a video. I'm gonna try to find it and send it to you, but it's pretty trippy. It's a music video, and it shows all Preston's doppelgangers, or whatever.
This is disturbing, guys.
Yeah, well, you know what?
He's shared such a wealth of pictures and information that has just blown my mind. It is just really just blown my mind.
I remember my teachers used to say, beware of the guy in the yellow school bus. He drove a little yellow school bus. And he had all his equipment in there, and, no, he was worse than that. He liked watching kids do sexual things. And some people think that some of that stuff was all right, like trauma bonding somebody else, or, and that's what happened to me in this, which knocked me out of this timeline. I think that one of the individuals I was doing work with knocked me out of this timeline because they tried to remove me from the whole story when I was the one that located and drew out all the sub-levels. But my commander started saying that he was the one that did that. He came up with this, and he came up with that, and gave alters. I don't play that. Especially when it comes to spiritual work, memories, you know what I mean? Now I'm going to tell the full memory, no matter what. No matter if there's somebody out there that thinks they're Danny. You're not Danny. Danny is a part of me. So if there's a fake Danny out there hiding behind a profile, not wanting to show your face, because a lot of people do this, and then they accuse others of stealing their stories. And that's the stuff I want to stop. A lot of the stealing of the story crap, a lot of people need to go to a psychic to get every answer. No, I'd rather organically have it. I'd rather my head feel like it's about to pop, and then that memory comes, and then I get that memory, and then I don't ever forget that memory. That memory is forever there. Brian, I remember I was in a room. Now, this is Brookhaven National Laboratory. Now, I remember Brian T. Seng. He was in a lab coat, and I was in a room, and we were at the Brookhaven National Lab. And what he did is somebody handed him a key. Weird. And it was to go down and revive a dead E.T. Greg. I believe it was from South Haven Park crash. So I'm in the room, I'm sitting there, and next thing you know, I felt like I just levitated to him. And that's where he also said, he made some jokes, and, when he said, boy, you're going to do this, and he stood over me and told me down underneath Brookhaven, he said to me, now you're going to use your mind, and I'm going to put on some music. And he had some kind of musical object that helped work my brain to get to the higher level of vibrations and frequencies, so I could actually manifest the being to come back to life.
So
And
you're
I
talking
was
about
able
Brian
to,
that was on your podcast the other night?
yeah,
No, so
Yeah.
he was a part of Montauk?
he doesn't know. This was not Montauk. This was
Okay.
Brookhaven National Lab. I'm just
Okay.
spitting memory out of of something that happened where, and yeah, it was like after I did that, I was like the prized possession, like it was, oh, you did good now, now you can go, you know what I mean? Like, but a lot of these kids, especially in Montauk, I mean, I remember those days riding mountain, or not mountain bikes, but BMX with the mag wheels. I had a GT. It was maroon. And me and a friend went for ice cream, and that's when I was taken the first time, I believe, like in like physical. I was taken to Montauk. I didn't know where it was at the time until I located battery 216. So, yeah, but I remember being pulled into a white van, and just like my friend, we have the same memory. We held on to our bicycles for dear life, but they just like, and just boom. That's it. You know what I mean? And next thing you know, you're knocked out. They give you something. Red pill, and it makes you all. And then maybe some LSD or, in past life or whatever. And by the way, some of those photos I sent, that is the wallpaper. Okay.
Wow.
It's not made up. It's not nothing. It's actual psychedelic wallpaper if you look at it well enough. And how the painting was. They said Timothy Leary was there. All types of people were there. One guy I remembered, and he was like an old school. He don't talk anymore. But he remembered Timothy Leary administering LSD to him in the acid house. So, like I said, he doesn't talk anymore.
You mentioned Oz too. Can you kind of explain that? Or is that
I don't really want to talk about Oz.
okay? That's okay. That's
It
okay.
is depressing because, as a kid, I burnt out several videos, but why would I burn out several videos? It was programming me to be depressed. There were several different, programs in there. Several.
Right.
I mean, even the making of the movie, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible making of the movie. So, what they did to Judy Garland, I mean, Hollywood is a whole nother story in itself, too. Hollywood is what it's called. Unfortunately, call it Hollywood.
What do you think about the Catholic Church?
I'll keep quiet on that one.
Is it safe?
Well,
I mean, I'm not.
When I was younger, my mom, fought with my family because they wanted me to be baptized Catholic. And my mom said, no, I'm going to let him choose what he wants. I'm not going to make him go through Catholic school. I'm not going to do that. So, but I don't agree with anything that they do.
The reptiles are in charge of the Catholic Church. Let's just say that.
Definitely.
They're
I
in
went to
charge.
Catholic school, a private school, and the priest they found out had abused all the boys that were altar boys. And what did they do? They took him and they relocated him. Nothing was ever done. So,
Wow. I gotta
That's
ask Dana about this, and I gotta say something because Coley, you just brought yourself into this conversation now. For my start with Dana, and I gotta ask you something, Coley, about that. Dana, why don't you tell me more about the idea that reptiles run the Catholic Church? Why do you even say that? Why do you say that?
Okay. This is like a great story, but okay. So there was a documentary about the Exorcist, the movie The Exorcist,
Yep.
the real documentary. So The Exorcist was with a girl, la la la, but the real boy that was subject to The Exorcist, the real story, he's still alive. And he was from the East Coast, I think like New Jersey or something like that, and he was brought to a I can't remember, monks, la la la, this group of monks, whatever you want to call them. Anyway, this place in Missouri, I have it written in my book actually. So I've seen this priest twice, and he was in the main documentary, and then I saw him interviewed on another one. And so when he knows the priest, so what happened at the end of the movie, like the Jesuit priest jumped out, and then the demon was gone or whatever. What actually ended up happening was the boy had the demon, the priest took on the demon at this monastery or whatever in Missouri, so that monk still has the demon in him at the monastery. And so this priest was talking about it, and the priest had done many exorcisms, this guy, and he said often people's eyes will turn green and slit. And one particular incident, one of the people he was exorcising said, "You can't touch us. We've been here longer than you." So this person's eyes were green and slit. I have long stories about, I call it Britannia. I don't call it England. I believe these are extraterrestrials. They've been here before basically humans have been here, or at least at the same time, or really close to this. And so there's this hierarchy and push back and forth, and they are the ones who are facilitating the usury of children. I talked about this last week, and that's how they get their energy and all this kind of stuff. And so that is the perfect realm to subjugate children and take their energy. At the Theater of the Pope, or whatever it's called, which is in Rome, or the Holy Roman Empire, there's not one cross. It's a reptilian facade. Like, actually the building looks like reptilian eyes and all this kind of stuff. I mean, if you start to look at it, if you start to look at it without filters of being told what is, and you start to look at the Holy Roman Empire, factually, you're going to be disturbed. And then the problem for me is, and I'm going to say this here, and I have a video, I haven't posted it, but I wrote about it in my book. I have a really hard time with the church having unction as drinking blood and eating flesh of your master, because I'm kind of like, that's reptilian, people. The person who, if you want to say there was a man called Jesus Christ, his first miracle was changing grapes, water into wine. Like, what a loving man he was, a tree hugger. He was a peaceful soul. I do not, and he was Jewish, which means, and he was a priest, he was a rabbi, a rebbe. He would have been kosher. Kosher people salt their meat to get rid of the blood. They have kitchens with separate sinks and all this kind of stuff to keep the cow and the calf separated. A kosher man would not want his followers, and he, first of all, he didn't want followers. He's like, he's showing us the way. Like, he's like, hey, come on, like, don't follow me, but here's the way. Basically, was what he said. And I highly doubt that he would say, eat flesh and drink blood. Okay. That's reptilian. And when you start to, I had the hardest time. I could not come online with this whole reptilian thing. Let me tell you, I love my friends. I had my 2 girlfriends down at the end of the block. I wrote about this in my book. Like, we didn't talk to each other for 9 months after I read David Icke's book and stuff like that. I'm like, reptiles. I mean, like, we just couldn't wrap our heads around it. But I'm sorry, there's just too much out there. And even this priest saying it. So if a priest who does exorcisms knows about reptiles, and I get into this because there's a whole big thing about it. Who's the highest priest? It's the Pope. And if you've ever seen some of these things where he's phasing in and out and all this kind of, look at some of the, oh my God. Or anyway, I will just keep it at there because I think I've said enough.
So,
you know, like,
I have follow-up questions for you then, because there's a couple things about what you just said that I think are very notable. Don't worry, I didn't say. I'm just so let me ask you this.
Oh no, it's not about you. Yeah, go ahead.
I thought you were like worried about what I was gonna.
Oh no. I'm just worried about what I just said.
I don't think you. I think you were cautious. I will say
Yeah.
we were not allowed to have this conversation in other areas of our time online. So Coley knows this is good to be able to have that expression. So anyway, so okay, reptilians. There's a lot there's a whole idea about the misinterpretation, I believe you're suggesting, of the Bible. Then there's this thing about David Icke you mentioned. Do you think that David Icke's theories are valid, legit?
Oh man. So I read his book, The Biggest Secret or something like that, like 25 years ago. It just like blew my mind open and all this kind of stuff. There's a bunch of conspiracy theory, if you want to call that, like conspiracy theorists, conspiracy theorying other conspiracy theorists like that, like cracks me up. Because people are like, oh, David Icke has been compromised and stuff like that. I don't know, because legit people, I don't follow him. I don't watch his YouTubes. Nothing. I read the damn book. That's the end of that. It opened up my eyes. I'm like, okay, I know this is going on. I don't know about him. I thought he was ridiculous. I saw one YouTube of him earlier before his book, and I think he was trying to say he was Christ or something like that. So I don't even know, and I don't want to say I think he's a nutter, but I'm like, aren't we all? I don't know. I can't speak about him, right? But I'm like, I read his book. It clicked with me. It was very shocking. It was very enlightening. A lot of the stuff, it was right after Lady Di died, and it brought out a lot of the symbolisms and stuff like that. So I'm like, he was on point with that. I have not read any of his other books, but for that moment and that time with that book, the dude was right on. Because he was talking about
archons and the moon being an artificial object that's created by the archons, and the reptilians are essentially using some kind of a vibration or frequency to suppress the human race from elevating from a higher level. This is a real theory, by the way.
Yes.
So that we are.
Because yes, I saw the moon. The facade rolled away. In my book, I talk about the facade rolled away on the moon. There was a dude behind there, and then I saw this girl. Like, I have a whole big thing about the moon. Like, yeah, it's all, yeah. And I don't want to say that. I don't want to say any of this. I don't want to believe in it. I don't want to believe in any of it. These are things I've experienced. I don't want to believe in any of it. I'm just going to say, I don't want to believe in the things that I've experienced. And I wrote about it. And I'm like the firmament. I'm like, I don't believe in the firmament, but I wrote 3 freaking chapters about it. I'm like, Dana, you have to come to grips. You wrote about it. I'm like, dude, okay. I'm like, I'm busting myself half the time. So yeah, isn't life interesting?
So
It
just
really
to kind
is.
of finalize that, just so you guys know, David Icke talks a lot about a lot of things. But he does have a grand theory. Essentially, it's the idea that we mentioned earlier, that the archons are in control. There are these beings that are like very high powered, high mind conscious, possibly I think from other dimension or something to that effect, or at least have very evolved compared to us. They use reptilians as a way to essentially interfere with beings across the universe, I think. Am I getting this right?
Yeah, I'll buy all of that. I don't know it, but I'll buy it. Yeah, I'm 100% down for that. Yeah.
Well, I think,
Well,
David Icke too, he when he talked about when he came out on stage and his, whatever, and it was right after he had woke, and he's saying he's God, but what he was saying is like, and I think it made more sense. Like, no, what he found out is like, we are all. It's like I always
Okay,
think of it
okay,
like
I'll buy
we
that.
we're all
I'll buy that.
appliances, but we're
Yeah.
plugged
Didn't
into
I
the
say that
same
about an
energy
hour ago?
source.
Yeah,
did.
I think
Yeah.
I said the same thing. So you
Yeah.
could say like I'm
I
as
think
loony.
more bizarre was
But
is
he
the
even said
effect
it sounded like crazy, but it's just right.
Okay.
He said it was just right after this awakening that he had.
Okay, cool.
Because
Was it-
I was stuck on that for a little bit too.
Yeah, no, the archons, no, this planet is being run by aliens. Hello, people. So there is no
Mhm.
disclosure. They've been here before us. That's what some people
Well,
term as God.
It gets
I
worse
don't,
though.
it's
His
not God.
theory is
Yeah.
more over
Uh-oh.
like
Tell
all
me
encompassing,
more.
right? Because he says that these reptilians are not just using the moon to suppress our kundalini, or I don't know the terminal, but they're
Well, they're
also
recycling us. Yeah.
that is okay. So they're also, and I mentioned this with Dolly the other night. So they're also using they're appearing to look like us. They can shapeshift.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and they prefer. There are two things, and I can't get these right. So audience rip me apart later. The one thing that I heard is that the reptilians like they enjoy the negative energy that we have as
Right.
human beings. So the negative vibrations we emit from low vibration, low frequencies, as you guys mentioned earlier, meaning
Mhm.
anger, hatred, violence, depression, all these things. They want to perpetuate that in humanity because that's what they feed off of, that negative energy.
Yes.
Their
Bingo.
literal food, or maybe their sustenance, or maybe it's a delicacy to them.
Yes.
But also there's
100%.
also ones that eat literal, and this is according to David Icke. I didn't say I believe, but they literally have like they eat humans.
Yes.
And there's a whole involvement with the
Yes.
queen and eating.
Yes.
And then there's
Yes.
children involved. There's
Yes.
like a lot, a
Yes.
whole grand scheme.
Yes. The red shoes,
Yeah.
man. The red shoes.
Yeah, the red
dude.
shoes. Oh yes.
I don't know
yes.
about
Eyes
this
wide
red
open,
shoes.
man.
I don't know what that
Yeah,
means. What's the
it's
red
all
shoes?
true.
What is that?
They slaughter children. That look at all these people and people in Hollywood. They have these red leather shoes. Look at these men. Watch people in Hollywood. They got red leather shoes. The Pope always, because when they slaughter the children, the blood on their shoes, and it doesn't show up then. It's the same damn thing. And that is a fact.
This is a
Yeah.
lot. That's a lot to take in. That's a lot to take in for a lot. I mean,
I know, but it's truth. But it is true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
Rocco?
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I have a final, not a final.
Reptilians are horrible.
What do you mean?
Reptilians are horrible.
Why? Because I've heard two stories. I
Why?
heard there's some good. There's
What
some
they
bad.
do, because what they're doing to our planet is
All of them?
why.
All of the races of
What is
reptilians.
the whole government? What is the whole government? Everybody in our government, from the lobbyists to everybody in the government, is something or knows something.
Are there no
Oh,
good
yeah.
reptilians?
There's sure.
I don't.
Of course there is.
I don't remember any myself personally.
I just think it with both sides of it, but like I said, the majority, the ones that are walking in our White House and down, they're not the good ones. They're not. There is an entity that's here. I believe I did the Hetlau. I got caught up in the Hetlau, and I learned the language. And it was human extraterrestrials live among us, and they do, and they look like us, and they. But there's very like Dana was saying before, like there's tall given signs. And so we used to track them on a larger level. So we were looking for like hand gestures and everything, but all roads lead back to the Vatican. All roads.
You know, really,
Yeah.
what really makes me mad, guys? Listen, I am not with you. Okay, what makes me mad is that the things you're talking about, they're littered through like right in front of your face.
Yeah.
And even though
Mhm.
I don't, you said I don't want to believe. I can't. I need more evidence. I need more data. I need something more concrete. But I will at least admit that there's some stuff that's there. There's some like I mean, they said that was kind of a, like the videos of like the Pope doing things or having carrying symbolisms on their robes and on their
Or
in
what's in
their
the
temple
basement
or whatever. And I'm like, why why would you do? I feel like they did it just for me. Like, oh, by the way, we don't do this, but let me just show you all the things that make it look like we do. And so it's kind of frustrating for somebody like myself, who's a little bit more skeptical, and I hold back a lot of what I believe, because I have to have more information, because that information that data is there. There's a lot of weird in your face, like listen, guys, listen, I'm sorry for those of you who are upset about this. I don't care, to be totally honest. You're gonna have to, figure it out yourself. But the Dalai Lama was like sticking his tongue out, and he told this little boy to suck my tongue.
Yes.
literally on
Yes.
camera. There's a
Yes.
video of him literally looking at this little boy, and he
Mhm.
says
Yes.
verbally, you can hear, "Suck my tongue" to this little boy, and he's like confused, and he does it again. Guys, if you
I know.
support, if you're trying to excuse this away, you're not paying attention. So there's a lot
Look
of
at Mother
weird,
Teresa, what she did. Yeah. Well,
there's a
you
lot.
you
There's
got
a
to
lot.
think
Yeah, I don't know.
the Catholic
Yeah.
Church hid the Nazis. They gave them new
Oh,
identities and
100%.
brought them right through. I mean,
Yeah.
just
I
I
had
took a
saying.
picture of George Bush shapeshifting as to a reptile, and you can find it on my
Mhm.
Facebook thing
So-
or on my thing. Like he literally
Yeah.
is. So they come in as a frequency, and what I say in my book is like they take on the mantle. So Elizabeth, when she became queen, she had to take on the mantle. Lady Di said they're not human, they're lizards and stuff like that. She, she did not want to take on the mantle. There's a whole big fight about that, and that's the whole bloodline. Boopity boop boop boop. But anyway, so yeah. So a
Mhm.
lot of the reptiles are full-on reptiles and they look like humans, but then there's the other ones that have to take on the mantle. They're humans, but to be in politics, to be the Pope, to be the president, to be the queen, to be the king, you have to take on the mantle. And that's what I call it. And so I literally was watching the 20th anniversary George Bush, go look it up, his speech from 20 years ago, or well, it's 22, whatever, how many years ago now. Go YouTube it. And it was on TV and right in the middle of it. And this is why it's clean for me. So like Facebook isn't going to shut me down because it's right off of my phone to my TV. And it's George Bush with his reptilian eyes shapeshifted. You can watch half of Hollywood. And that's why half of Hollywood, I don't like them anymore because they had to take on the mantle because you can't be these celebrities unless you're into doing the same thing because that's who's in charge.
Hold on, guys.
100%.
You know what frustrates me? I got to show you this real quick. What frustrates me the most is this Illuminati thing. Like, right, the idea that there's like these Satan worshiping, the interdimensional worshiping people. They worship these beings from another dimension, and they have dark entities, and all the stuff you're talking about. It's all connected to this kind of thing. And that artists are connected to singers and rappers and rock stars. And there's a video of, I think it's Bob Dylan, where the interviewer, he literally asks him, how did you get the fame or whatever? And he's like, well, it's all up to that destiny thing. YouTube this, everyone. It's all up to that destiny thing. He's like, what do you mean by destiny thing? He's like, I made a deal with it a long time ago.
Right.
And then he says, well, a deal with who? Can you say who? He says, oh, the chief commander. And he asks him, in this life? He said, in this life, in the world we can't see. Why did you have to go down that weird rabbit hole to get to this point where you're literally saying that you made a deal with some other being from some other dimension that exists here? What does that mean? Or if you hear songs where they're like literally, listen, I need more data. Okay. I'm the guy that needs more. I see it. It's there. I get it, but I can't, I have to have concrete, but it is there. The Travis Scott concert where they had the Medusa things and they were walking into its mouth and all these kids died, and he's made a joke about it on Instagram. Come to find out that there was a portal in the background of his concert, and the portal was a portal to hell, to another dimension. And he said
100%.
that you're all going with me. See you on the other side. What is going? And it was all a lot of children.
Concerts are all magic, man. The concerts are
and it was
magic.
Tailored for children.
Even Taylor Swift, she's demonic.
Yes.
Seriously is no, they're all doing it. And I even actually went to a nice concert, but I could feel the magic going on. And I was like, kind of like, okay, trying to like, I don't mean to say combating it, but I mean, and then I talked to my sons afterwards. I'm like, how much freaking magic was going on there? And they're like, yeah, everybody, they're the new temples, these concerts. I went to concerts in the 70s, man. We're like, yeah, whatever. And now it's all like a temple, and we're all praying to the wrong gods, but people show up. And there's people that go to a Taylor Swift concert and they don't even remember it. They don't.
What did you say earlier? You said frequencies, right?
Right here in Kansas City. Right here in Kansas City, seizures, all
Right.
kinds of stuff. They went to a Taylor Swift concert here
Yeah.
in Kansas City. It happened in here in Kansas City.
So I
They
can't
say
speak
she's
to
the
that.
daughter of
Yeah.
the high satanic queen. That
I
that
can't
high
speak to that.
satanic queen,
Yes.
that blonde
Yes.
chick.
Yeah, I can't speak to that, but I
Yes.
will say
Yes.
this much though. There's a very known fact. As a matter of fact, there's a band
Anton LaVey or something. Yeah.
that's a whole. That's another. But hold on one second. Let me.
Yeah,
Anton
but
LaVey is.
they
Yeah, hold that.
they're-
Hold. Let me write
yeah.
it because Anton LaVey is. So there's an entire. There's a music band that literally puts a specific frequency that affects human beings. It affects your brain, your psyche. It affects your energy or whatever. The CIA is well aware of this. There are institutions that study the brain function, enhanced brain function. They're aware of frequencies and how frequencies can affect your cognition and your learning, but also they're aware of the government is aware of these frequencies and other scientists as well, by the way, or frequencies that can make you feel sick, can make you feel delusional, can make you hallucinate. We're talking sound frequencies. They can
Yeah.
lower your analytical mind, the part of your brain that tries to critically think through things, so that you'll take things in more easily. Meaning they literally are controlling what you think in your head. Subliminal messaging is a real thing. They use it in advertising. So you couple a bunch of different and believe what you
Subliminal
want.
dissemination.
I'm just
Yep.
saying.
60 Minutes just did a
It's
thing on it
just-
tonight about frequency and how, the mind control and how the CIA is using it. And actually,
I know.
sound is a legitimate tool. Like it's illegal to use sound because they know sound can kill you. So if sound can kill you, it can also heal you.
It can
So you're
manipulate you
100%.
too, though.
60 Minutes had a thing on it tonight. Everybody watch 60 Minutes tonight.
I'm gonna
Watch
check
it.
into it.
It's the
Yeah.
thing. I'm backing you
If
up.
they're reporting
100%.
on it, then yeah, we got to see what
It's
they
not-
have to say.
but
for
yeah,
sure.
they're using it as espionage. It's a huge thing.
Yes.
Huge. And but muggles are, and I told my husband, because he's kind of a muggle, I'm like, dude,
A muggle?
that is not conspiracy theory. You're watching 60 Minutes because that's real, and I'm like, hear the reporting on it. I'm like, so how am I nuts? I'm not nuts.
Well, I mean, it's hard for
You know?
people, for normies, right? Because I get that too. Like people close to me, I used to talk to people close to me. I don't anymore because it's overwhelming to try to condense several years of like hours and like sleepless nights learning about this stuff and reading about it and watching the vid. And again, when you get into the videos, the little clips you're going down the rabbit hole. But when you use that information in conjunction with the data, meaning the witness accounts that are documented by everything from MUFON to paranormal investigators, you got to ask. You have to. And if you look at the Scientific Coalition for UAP Studies, I believe it's called, and other organizations that are doing real scientific work about frequencies and paranormal activity and UFO activity and all this stuff, if you just do the research, and it's a lot of work, you do go down these rabbit holes where it's like, wow, there could be. And again, I am not presenting my perspective. I'm just talking. This is the stuff that I engage with because I want to know what's going on. But it is bizarre, and it can get terrifying. It can become consuming. It can make you go crazy. It can literally make you go crazy. It can make you have delusions and hallucinations. It can make you have psychotic breakdowns. It happens to people all the time. We lose people in the UFO field because they get so engrossed in this topic that eventually they go down a rabbit hole. And guess what? There are several people the last couple of years. I don't know what happened to them. Chris Lato. I mean, he had an episode. I don't know if you guys know about this, but Chris Lato, there was a period in time. He's okay now, but there was a period in time where Chris Lato was going insane. He was having these episodes where he was like, for I don't know how long on stream, he was just doing weird things and having these weird moments, and he was like talking about connecting to frequencies, and he was on a higher level, and he was posting stuff on X. People were like, "Hey, are you okay, man?" They were trying to like suicide check him because they were concerned for his safety because he was on live being really weird. His family was running downstairs because he was breaking his guitar. This is a guy who came. He's a pilot. He's an ex-pilot. He got involved in this with a scientific and intelligent mind. He was doing real research on this topic, and he had an episode, and it can do that to you. This can do that to you, if you're not careful. So, yeah, there's a lot, and you can't just throw this at normies. You can't just give them our perspective because there's so much data that we have to find ways, which is why I asked you guys to baby step this conversation, which is why sometimes I apologize, but it's okay. every now and then I interject to try to give a little bit of perspective to people that don't know, who have no idea, and who aren't into this field, because there are people who watch us who are like, this is whack stuff. And I have to tell you, it's not. It's more than that, and you have to listen, because no matter whether you
It's as
believe,
real as the day goes long.
well, unfortunately, it's even more real than that. It's just that we're not all perceptive of the things that we're talking about here. And there are real scientific minds, of which my belief system is based off of what the scientists and the researchers who are scientifically minded have to say about it. But if you listen to them, they're talking about what you guys are talking about, but they're looking at it from a mass data perspective. And what is the science
You got to
behind?
remember they're funded. They're funded.
I'm not sure who
Let's
you're
see.
talking
Yeah,
about.
MUFON I don't deal with, by the way.
I'm not talking about
No.
MUFON.
CIA
I'm
all
talking
the
about
way.
like, like John Keel, like people that have been like talking to witnesses. And
I'm talking about
Yeah.
people like Barry Gantz, very well known paranormal slash, MUFON slash I want to bring you and get you checked for implants at Harvard University and all that. No, I'm not going near Harvard, number one, because it's all CIA.
They're all
Andy
DOD
Cooper-
now. They're part of the DOD. Yeah.
Well, we all differ on that, but because I don't know anything about this. I was talking about like researchers that have kind of set the stage. For
Yeah,
this.
there's a lot of researchers that play people for their money, and
I'm well aware of that. I always talk about Dr. Longschlong.
Oh God,
Who's that? Who's that? I gotta know who Dr. Longschlong is. Is that really a name?
Really, oh God, who's that?
No, but I mean,
I'll
it
tell
is
you
a dark
off
night
air.
of the soul.
I'll tell you
It
off
is a
air.
it is a dark night of the soul, and I was saying that earlier with my neighbors down at the end of the block when we read David Icke and stuff like that. It took us, we didn't talk to each other for 9 months, and so just realize, to any listener, these are huge things, and I did not want to embrace it. I don't want to believe in it. I don't want to think that this is true. I have rejected it and pushed it away for decades. I have not wanted to accept the reptilian agenda for 25, 30 years. I don't want it. But it's a dark night of the soul. And then you have to like go into the pit and then, come to this. This is what historians and theologians and religious people, they talk about this, and this is what the awakening is. This is why people went and became cloistered. This is why you would lock yourself up in a monastery, because you couldn't be out in the normal public to understand these things. This is why when Tibet was broken into by China, it was like, now we are monks without monasteries. That was a symbolic thing about, now we are religious people, spiritual people, but we can't cloister anymore. We have to be out in the public. The information has to be out with us. But it's very disassociating because we don't have particular people to help navigate us through these things. This is why we have to come together as a community to navigate these things together, because it is overwhelming. It's too much. I want to reject it. I want to say this is fake. I want to say, I'm the first person to say baloney on all of it. But I have spent 30 years of this stuff going, you're wrong. And all the facts come back. Nope. This is happening. And so that's my process. But this is the thing. We are monks without monasteries. Please do it, but be gentle on yourself. We are talking about it, and we've done a lot of research. If you're new to this, be gentle on yourself and just know that you're going to take steps, and that's what it is. And then just be proud of yourself that you can, how you navigate through it, and how you navigate through it is your way of navigation, not our way, not their way, not this way, not that way, your way. And then we just try to find a good community that will embrace you and say, hey, come along. Yeah, we're all kind of crazy over here. That's what it is. Hey,
we have 2 minutes, guys. We got 2 minutes. I'm so sorry. We have, we could talk for hours. There's so much more to say. So real quick, I just want to say, I want to thank you both for coming back, for Dana for coming back on. And of course, I want to thank you for coming on for the first time, Rocko. I really appreciate that. And I really, honestly, man, I want to say, I appreciate you sharing your story, because for a lot, it's a tough pill to swallow. I mean, I think Dana's
Mhm.
well aware of this. She's been doing this for longer than I have. It's hard for people to hear your story and believe it. It's harder for you telling your story, knowing that there are people who are telling you, they're saying they don't believe you. And I want to say this for the audience. I will say it every time we talk to a guest. Just because you do not believe what someone says doesn't mean you shouldn't listen, because there's something in everything people are telling you. This is data. This is data. There is a Mothman prophecy. If you haven't read the book, read it. It's not about something that you should just believe, but it is a data point that is extremely important to the phenomena. There's a lot of different things again, it's not, oh, this is the truth, that's the truth. It's all part of something. There's a story here. There's something, there's a truth to be seen. And if we're ignoring data, you're not going to find the truth. You're going to find a piece of something and you're going to run with that piece. That's not the whole truth. We have to look at everything and listen to everyone to find out what the truth is. And with that, guys, please tell everyone where they can find you in your content and how they can, if they can connect with you, how they can connect with you.
I don't know, DanaLouise.com, I guess.
I
Go
got you
from
in
there.
I got you in the
Yep.
description.
Rocko.
Also, my Facebook, Rocko Fowler.
And you have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's Montauk Recalls slash I think it's I can't even remember it right now. I'm so like my mind is like
We've been doing this for 3 hours.
Oh yeah, we understand.
Sorry.
Yeah, we'll post it in.
No, I mean no, like the emotion. Like right now, Dana, I'm sweating literally. Like when I get off of here, it's woo.
Well, Rocko,
My whole body.
Hit me up, Rocko, with the details of how to.
I
how to
subbed to you. I subbed to you today. I sent you. I hit subscribe. So
thank you.
Check.
And Rocko,
it'll be.
I'll be in contact with you. I'd love to bring you back on in a couple of months too with your growth process, and then and more when you're ready to do that. Okay, you did awesome, Dana. Love
Thank
you,
you, guys.
girl.
No problem.
Yeah, you love you guys. I mean, you're absolutely amazing. So
All right, guys, we got to go. I'm so sorry. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I appreciate everyone being respectful and engaging. That was awesome. It was really fun to talk to you in the chat. Now, you guys stay for a second, and I'll tell you about who the doctor is. But I got to go too. It is midnight my time. I got to work in the morning. I was working all day long today, and I have a big family. So please, we'll talk though. Just wait for me. Don't hang up yet, guys. But everybody else, I will see you. Me and Coley will see you next week, bringing you some more guests, and it's going to be fun. So hang tight for that. All right, y'all. With that, we love you guys. We appreciate everything you're doing, and we will see you next week. Peace.